Hello, hello, hello! Welcome out, everyone, to episode 28 of Sunforged.
What's going on, man?
What do you mean, what's going on? Have I done something?
I was about to say a thought, and the second I was about to say it, you fucking come in, you kick the door down, you actually cut me off moments before.
Also, you did this. Hello.
Yeah,
hello,
I was
like that. And that was fucking on.
It was like
It's
four different bad things all happening at the same time. It's already left a bad taste.
Can you
in my
start
mouth.
over?
No. Do you know what? I always do that. I always start over when you guys demand it. You had your best. That was the best I've got, okay?
Yeah.
That's the
Next
standard
time,
for
could you
today.
just
stick to your
Okay?
guns?
That's the
Can
standard
you
for
just
today.
practice for next week then so it's not so shit?
Yeah,
But there might not be a next week, okay? You gotta watch yourselves in the city today, okay? So there's no practice needed. All right. Okay.
What's he mean when he says that, guys?
I thought it was bad in the fucking little pedal, dude. What do you mean it might not be a next
Welcome to
week?
Big Pedal. Well, welcome out to episode 28, everyone. Dodger is here. She's just coming along, so she'll be at the PC soon. But we are going to start today by looking at some fan art because we keep not getting a chance to look at it in the evening. So, if you would like to divert your attentions, so you guys can follow along in the players. This is in the Discord, or even if you're in the Twitch chat, there is a Discord with all of the fan art in it.
There is.
But for everyone else who's watching along,
There it is.
yeah, just go into the Fudge Rolls Discord, and there in the fan art section, if you scroll all the way up, we're going to go, I think this was the last one we looked at, PZNs, from the 7th of January. So we're going to scroll down from there and go through them. And starting off with, so I wasn't sure how far back we need to go, but I'll go back to here. Starting off with PZN, Pazone, as I call him, has made tarot cards with the High Priestess and Rasa as one
so
of them,
good.
which is really, really cool. Showing
So good.
Rasa. We
Little
have...
Sestina.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't use Sestina a little way behind there. We have a few actual musical tracks in the fan art section, which I implore everyone to check out. I can't really easily show them on stream right now. But BB came in with one called Tallow, which is really cool. There's a bunch of them in the fan art channel, which I implore you to check out. Really cool themes. Ivan made a Carlisle and Desmond at the bar drinking whiskey and wine.
So cute.
Let's go, partner.
Cute.
Such a cool one.
Yes. So good.
We
love it.
have another musical piece from Osteen. Thank you for that. Mailman has made a picture of Richard the Toad posing. Ready?
Yes.
Also amazing.
So good.
Oh my
Redrawn
god.
like one of those French girls.
Yeah.
That's Richard's Hey Ladies pose.
Oh yeah.
Another one from Mailman with Carlisle pointing his revolver. He's yet to...
Everyone knows he has. Kill people with.
Everyone power
That's
games
like
a gun into
The
Carlisle's
friendliest face, like, behind a gun you've ever seen. Like, he's so friendly. Like,
You don't realize he's shooting penicillin from that, okay? He's a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Exactly.
Really, really hard pills.
Math Reds has got a couple of gruesome V arts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Two of these.
yeah,
So
really
sick.
They're
good.
very cool.
Hell
Very cool style.
yes.
Another song from
So good.
Ozstein. Thank you very much for that. Implore everyone to go and check it out. Mailman, a drawing I did of Tacturn Kobold keeping their dice safe during the gambling game. I put them all in the
Dodger
mouth.
kept putting dice in her mouth.
It's so
That was
good.
So good. Amazing.
Math Reds also, oh my goodness.
Went
Oh,
nuts.
here's the big art
Yeah.
doll.
Went
yeah.
Did a big
Oh,
old
Seriously.
art doll.
Jesus.
Let's
So
start with the
good.
Carlisles here. It's such a cool style.
That's so
It's like
good.
painted
I love
glass
his
Darkest Dungeon.
mustache. It's like,
Yeah, it's so good.
so cute.
So good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Couple more of him as well.
So fucking
I only just
cool.
noticed like the saw and the kind of
Yeah.
little scalpel in the hand. And then the blood bag staff is so good.
That's so cool.
We've also got Vandervol here as well, with Richard in hand. Crazy good detail on the robes as well.
Yeah.
We have Indrussa in all of her magical forms.
So good.
Which is awesome. Super gothic. Desmond prepping a shot with the old hand crossbow.
Yeah.
Hero.
That is a hero stance.
That's a hero.
More Desmond, unrobed Desmond.
Cover up.
I'm not too much.
Scandalous. Dude, the arm crossbow is so sick when you look at it like that. And then here's full cowboy Desmond. Rather in black.
That.
We need to get you
That's
like
so
a steed, a mechanical steed.
Oh my god, that's sick.
Fuck yeah.
We've got ourselves Tack as well, which is really, really cool.
So good.
The outfit's sick.
I know. So good.
One here with the scarred face is super cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
With Morgaine in full armor, so Morgaine's armor.
Yo.
Badass.
Sick.
So badass.
And there
What
it is
the
again
fuck?
with the full robe up.
Damn.
And the angriest little
So
moth
cute.
V.
She's so tiny and so angry.
So
It's
good.
a mom froed up pose.
Mama threw up.
The best thing about this is you go through these two cute ones, and then you suddenly just get this one covered in gore.
It just gets more and more fucked up.
It's
It's
super
perfect.
good.
Love it.
All 6 for 8 of it, dude.
Carlisle's muffin, the salt muffins.
Oh, I
so
forgot about the salt.
They're gonna come
muffins.
up.
I still have mine.
Getting out of
They
it.
will come
I'm
up at
gonna
some
need
point.
one at some point.
Yeah,
I still have one.
For sure.
Math Red's also made some cool designs of Desmond's hand crossbow, which is super
So
sick.
cool.
The integrated
Shit.
crossbow and how it comes
fucking
out.
Cool.
It's sick.
I love that so
We've
much.
also got a Carlisle fighting pose with like a snake staff.
Red.
Oh, that was the one you got the
Damn.
spear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. I only just noticed that. That's really cool. And then here's
What a sick
they've
I
got-
love
outfit.
this next one.
it's so good. The mustache is amazing.
Good.
It's so good. That's what's under the hat.
Yep.
All along.
It's canon.
Yeah.
Celadon's done a little meme
Luscious
of
locks.
Richard with a big old castle on his back.
Amazing.
Oh, cool. The death mask made by Math Reds for
Yeah.
Morgaine. All the different kind of
Morgaine,
designs
that's
and
really
styles you
cool.
go for.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
We've got more Richard as a castle. A mailman. Ostein, sorry, I can show on stream, is poetry, which says a girl with
hell
claws,
yeah.
a doctor, a blind paladin, a warden, a hero robot for hire, a wizard of high culture. Together they travel, sharing the weight on their shoulders. Some could sway crowds, one could crush boulders. Brought together through circumstance, their bard song beauty must be heard. A machine friend moves with an anthropod world unperturbed. Still early in their journey, they have many woven mysteries to unfold. They have rescued a group of people and are building them a home. As long as the six have each other, they will never be alone. They will always fight together, and their glory shall be known.
Damn, snap,
sick.
snap.
Guys, we have to do better than the 6. It's time to become like the canon name. We just
I
have
don't
to-
know.
We have to.
Dude,
cut
I love
some
it.
of those
It's
out.
been almost like 10
It's fucked.
sessions of
It's
it.
fucked.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
over.
It's so
Like,
over.
We'll have
We're
to,
done.
we have to regroup in like another 30
We have to fix.
sessions.
No, but we can fix it like now. But if
No,
we let
we
it
can't.
get longer,
We're
No,
not-
we can't.
No, we literally can't.
No,
because it's
we can't.
become funny to most of
Well,
us.
It's
and
canon.
now
Here's
it's a
merchandise
thing.
for the six, made by Mailman.
Announcing. We've trademarked it.
Around the back too.
You'll have your time when it's no longer anything but embarrassing.
names on
This
the
is
back.
this is the
So
best one
funny.
as the final bit of fan art for today.
Yep.
I love
Is-
it.
So good.
A six-fingered hand. Six-fingered
The
hand. So
six.
good.
It's perfect.
Well,
Okay.
thank you very much, everyone, for that fan art. We massively appreciate
Yeah.
it. Okay. All right. Well, with the fan art section over, and all of us now present, before we get started with some Dungeons and Dragons, does anyone have anything they would like to shout out or announce? Or forever hold your peace? Okay, good. All right, let's get started with some Dungeons and Dragons then. I'm sorry. Why do I feel guilty asking that question? Okay.
You should. You fucking should.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Every goddamn week, this fucking guy.
I'm tired.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, let us get started then. So, rumor has it that the Six journeyed into the Tournament of the Small, battled in groups of 2, fought their way into a victory that was hard-earned through deception and acting, but along with skill prior to that. With those passes made, giving one out to Sicario and taking one for Sir Morgaine, allowing you to give Sir Valesia another pass, you decided to use your forged passes and get into the city of Marigold. Once inside, you wanted to find a place to rest. You received a letter from a courier asking you to come to Lord Cogworth's home and visit him for an evening meal. Deciding to wait until the following morning, you ventured into the painted alleys, avoiding the Mirror District where your form is changed under an ever-changing altar spell incantation. And within this tavern, you had drinks, bought rooms, and received another letter asking you to come in the morning instead for breakfast from a courier. But with that being said, you have the entirety of Marigold to yourselves to explore. Whether you want to go shopping, explore adventures, seek out mysteries within the walls of Marigold. We start off with you resting for that evening. In your cramped spaces, your cramped rooms, you perform a long rest and wake in the morning. What do you want to do? The floor is yours.
Joe, I have a critical question that is going to come up with how many areas this city has.
Yes.
Carlisle's backstory, like background thing, says that I get like bonuses based on being in a new area or like town until I've rested there. Does that mean these districts, or does that mean Marigold as an entire place?
Great question.
Obviously, districts. Obviously.
Well,
I would figure it'd be districts because everyone would be so different, right?
That is probably the case. It's going to be a case of because like it's been said, the way I interpret that is you're absorbing in the culture, and each of these districts is practically a large town in themselves. So that's probably the best way to look at it. Is
okay. Just want to make sure before I start like running with.
No. You could so to kind of put that into perspective for the painted alleys where you first rested. Now, even though you're in the kind of the safer portion closest to the stem, avoiding the riffraff of deeper into the painted alleys, you could probably observe from the window upstairs, out of the back window, because I imagine that the way this tavern works, it's quite a lot of the buildings here are joined. Is the staircase goes up and all these kind of quite small rooms, windowless, cramped but cheap. But there's a direct window outside as you go up the stairs, looking out into the kind of back streets, and you'd be able to sit there or stand there for a good like 20-30 minutes and just take in some of the culture, see how people act in this area, and kind of get an idea for the general atmosphere of the painted alleys, which you could probably depict to be quite. It's not as obvious as to see cutthroats and thieves running around, but you can definitely see it's a poorer district in comparison, but also one filled with probably the most genuine culture of the city, or the most kind of real in terms of people are actively trading goods, bartering with each other, but there's friends and families drinking, talking, walking the streets, some of them drunk, some of them sharing food together. You can see people going up to walls and painting, and some of the murals painted over, even if they've just made like beautiful ones just to create more art. There's a lot of kind of personality to the painted alleys. If there's anything you wanted to do that night, by the way, do interrupt me. Otherwise, yeah, we'd push on towards morning after you've all rested in your beds.
Dad just posted something in chat, and I was about to say something, and that's all I could think of.
So fucking funny.
I was like, what? Our hair looks so
Our hair does
similar
look
right
super
now.
similar right now.
Anyway, sorry. I
No,
didn't
it's
mean to
good.
derail. It's just
Yeah.
I was about
Yeah.
to talk and then I saw
What
it.
I
and
did
it's like
was-
a Gestalt thing and you read it all at
I
once.
walked into a barber and said, "Give me the Dodger," and they said,
Oh my
"Say
god,
no more."
that's the way.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's so good.
Okay. Either that night or in the morning, I guess it doesn't really matter. At some point, before before she sleeps short, Andrasa would take out a small mirror from her
Mhm.
bag, just kind of set it on her desk, and as she's sort of
Just
changing
interrupt.
and getting ready.
Just because it's just going to affect Indrasa's disposition in this moment. This room is way too small for a desk. It is practically the bed and not much else.
She'll put it, she'll
Yeah,
put it
you're gonna have to
wherever.
build your own little kind of corner desk.
Oh, she'll put it on the bed. It's fine. The point is she's
Mm-hmm.
changing. I don't care where it is, right? It's out. And I think she's gonna start kind of talking as she's changing. And she'll sort of don't really know where you are at the moment. You're being very uncommunicative, but I'm in Marigold. It's all right so far. This room is incredibly small. Do you know there's no window? I don't think they can legally rent out a room with no window. What if there's a fire? How are you going to get out? Anyway, so far, it's all right. Seems maybe okay. If you're in the area, I believe there are quite a few very nice restaurants around. You could take me to dinner. And then she finishes sort of getting ready.
There's about a 5-minute gap after you're done, before the mirror lights, gleams for a second, and you see this almost smoke come from the seams of around the glass, and it almost fogs up against the wall. And then when the fog kind of fades, you see painted on the wall next to you is a window. It's not a real functional one. It's just painted to be kind of realistic, and it peers out. And all you see is hills of rolling red and rivers of flame, as if looking out of a beautiful window with kind of painted on curtains into this field of flame.
Okay. Finishes getting ready for bed.
In the morning, you'd each wake, depending whatever time you woke up. A question for you, Desmond. What would you be doing during the night?
These rooms are exceptionally small, yeah. I don't want to
Yeah, they're cramped. Yeah.
like clutter someone else's room with me, even if I'm just standing there. So I would probably be waiting outside of all the rooms, sort of stationed up in a spot like a corner, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You could stand by the mirror,
Just
the window.
in my low power mode.
Yeah. Almost like a corner statue. When people wake up, they can kind of come out and see. Okay. Well then, as the morning comes, the floor is all yours.
Get up. Go downstairs.
Tables are there. It's a quiet tavern. You've got a couple of regulars that are coming in, grabbing kind of ales. You can see the one thing that this place does have is it has a considerable amount of cheaper mugs, kind of wooden carved mugs that people are taking and bringing out with them. They're almost kind of having drinks as they walk by and kind of bring them back. And there's kind of an expectation. You can see almost this barrel in the corner of people throwing their used mugs in. And the guy's just kind of cleaning through them. Not very well either. It's not the nicest spot. So he's kind of picking them out of the barrel and just wiping them down, just popping them back on the shelf. But it's kind of a place where you can come in and get like a drink to go almost. So you've got a couple of people coming in and doing their morning ales and morning stouts.
I think Andrasa sees that he's not really cleaning the mugs that well. She's going to just sort of make a face and pass. Just sort of wait till everyone else comes down.
Yeah, Carl, I'll be up pretty alongside whoever's up early. He's an early riser.
Who are our early risers? And who's our late risers? If we have any.
Andrasa only needs to
Definitely
drink,
me and
so-
Andrasa would be the earliest because we don't need
Yeah.
a lot of rest time.
Morgaine would be late.
Jack would be late.
Nice.
V would be
Injured,
late
has to put on all the
too.
armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Carlisle probably gets minimum sleep. Probably
Yeah,
not
yeah.
much more than that because there's just so much more setup he has to do than like a spellcaster to do things.
A morning routine. Okay, well, yeah, we've got a split of the pie. Three late risers, 3 early risers.
You know, if they don't wake up soon, we're gonna end up getting a third letter from that guy asking us why we
Do you
missed breakfast and whether or not we'll come in for brunch.
Don't give
Do you
Joe
think-
ideas.
Do you think he's already written one and it's ready in case? I wonder how many follow-ups he has.
What
Probably
time
the
is
next
it in the
3 or
morning?
4.
It probably really early for you guys, because we went to bed fairly early too. Probably 6, like 6:30, 7 tops.
If this dude sent us a fucking letter in the next hour, he's insane. No one's showing up at 7 a.m. for breakfast.
Do you want to have a drink here? The glasses don't look that clean, honestly.
Yeah, I think Carlisle with a passive perception of 22 can also see the glasses are not clean.
Yeah.
I was kind of figuring that, that Cogworth fella was offering us breakfast. I was planning on just enjoying that.
Give me a perception check in general, Carlo.
Okay. 20.
You'd be able to notice that outside of maybe being a little bit kind of dank, I should say, the actual glasses that are on the top shelf haven't been used. And so the cleanest in terms of not kind of backwashing through other people's means are the actual glasses, because it seems like everyone just grabs
With
the
a
cheap
layer of
mugs.
dust. Is like...
Yeah, there's dust around them, and they probably haven't been picked up in because they're upside down, so the kind of interior is locked off. That probably hasn't been picked up in a while, so there's probably a bit of a stale air in them. But that's the cleanest you're gonna get here.
Air.
Yeah, I feel like if you're like, hey, can I use one of your clean glasses from the top, that'd make a big deal about
Excuse
it.
me.
And they'd probably get pissy.
Yeah.
So
It's just,
like, there's a reason they're not using them.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, for your passive insight, definitely. That would definitely be the case.
Should we what should we do? Do we wait? Do we go wake them up? What's the protocol
I
here?
like to give it a little bit of time, but
This
I
is
mean,
like
if we
every
wake them
sleepover.
up-
Yeah, seriously. How long until we wake everybody up so we can have some fun before our parents show up?
I'd like to get
Oh
one
my
more
God.
game in.
If we wake them up right now, as early as we're getting up, you know they're gonna have a bit of an attitude about it.
Mm.
Well, now this just sort of feels like a waste of time, though. We should do something productive, right?
Well,
You know,
Carlisle's in the
study.
middle of like prepping supplies while he's talking to you. Probably pretty easy for him to just roll stuff out on a table and just start working on things. So he's like just staring at you saying, "We're
I
not
already
doing anything."
reread my notes. I
I would
don't.
figure Desmond's doing the same thing, building
Yeah,
his turrets back up.
Well-
I've reread everything 3 times. I don't.
Have you read it a 4th time?
Well, no, I have a really good memory, so I don't really even need to. I was just sort of doing it out of habit because.
Thought about picking up
I
a
don't-
hobby? I don't know. Pick up a hobby, learn how to knit or something. I don't know. People say that's nice and calming.
What do you,
Sometimes it's nice to relax and not just work.
Yeah, I wish I had the free time to do things that weren't just chipping away at all this here.
I've left most of my books I was studying at home, and now I've read the one.
Do you have any
No,
books
it
for
will.
fun? Stories?
Pick up an instrument.
Read for fun.
Yeah, some books are actually made for people's entertainment. They tell things like stories and the like. You know.
Like a what? Like a romance or a what?
Adventure books.
What adventure?
Mysteries, comedies, a whole lot.
Maybe there's a bookstore. Maybe I'll get some, I suppose. She just
Desmond
sort of-
opens his satchel and dumps out like 17 storybooks that he just keeps on him.
You've been reading those the whole time?
Oh, these are great, yeah.
Oh,
It's sort of where I get my inspiration.
may I borrow one?
Oh, yeah. Well, which one
Alright,
looks
which one? Well,
interesting?
which one would you recommend? They all sort of. I don't have a frame of reference to start with.
Well, this one we almost sort of experienced ourselves. This is Jeremiah and the Bean Sprout.
Oh my god.
Starting a fucking early risers club, dude.
I don't know that I've heard of that one. Jeremiah and the Bean Sprout. All right, I'll try that one. She picks it up, just immediately starts reading. Like right away, just like.
At the same time as this is happening, I imagine that the late riser could start coming down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you all power move and you say you fucking don't.
Yeah,
and
you
make
could
us-
also.
I stay in bed.
you could-
Someone has to wake me up.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you like. It's absolutely fine.
Tack would eventually roll out of bed.
Literally roll.
Yeah, and would kind of. They're not typically a excitable person anyway, so I don't know that tonal shift is there completely, but yeah, they'll kind of quietly make their way down the stairs and just wordlessly sit at the table and watch everybody do whatever it is that they're doing.
What does Tack keep on them in terms of, do they, when you have a diplomat's pack, do you keep that on you at all
Yes.
times at the moment?
Yeah.
You,
Yeah. I always have paper,
Order.
pens, all of that sort of thing. And I think since I'm trying to push that jewelry is my trade here, I think I would keep that kit, or at least elements of that kit, on me as well.
You would find that when you wake, your diplomat's pack is open. And you can see one of the pieces of paper is kind of almost out at the top, kind of fold at the end so it can be hooked inside. And on the paper itself, it's got like little Z's to kind of almost like sleeping kind of
Like
symbols.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's all that's. Does it. Can I glance through? Is anything missing?
Do an investigation check.
Believe in you.
Roll.
Excuse me.
Oh, not good. A 9. I'm sleepy, dude.
Probably too tired to see. It's one of those things where you probably don't pay attention to every single thing that's in there meticulously. So it's that thing where there's an idea of you're not sure what you're looking for to be missing. Seems like everything's there.
Would you allow me to roll again if, like, not being able to tell sort of freaks me out and I start searching the room to see if
I mean,
I
you
can
could
tell if
definitely
anything
search.
else
Yeah, you can
in
definitely
the
search.
room?
Yeah.
A 14. That's better.
You would search
I'm not
around.
bad at those. That's why this is annoying.
Yeah, no, but 14's not a bad roll, and
Wait, do you have guidance? Can you guide yourself?
I can't
technically-
guidance
technically
myself.
You can't guidance yourself.
17 now.
17. You'd look around. Are you looking for anything missing? Are you looking for what particularly are you looking for?
I guess I'm trying to double check any evidence to go to everybody else with that, like, somebody was in my room, like something happened in here. Anything that makes that obvious.
Yeah. 17's good enough that you've done a thorough search. It's not a very big room. You don't see a point of entry, and the doors aren't exactly well locked, or they're not kind of super hard to break into, likely. However, doesn't look like anything was the lock wasn't broken. Nothing was jostled around. There's been nothing knocked off around the area. There's nothing to really knock off. There's no footprints. There's no really evidence of anything there.
Okay, I think Tack has the piece of paper with the Z's on it, and is looking around the room while holding this paper, and then eventually makes their way outside of the room and is looking at the door, looking around in front of the door, and then heel turns and goes to Morgane's room and knocks on the door.
One moment. There's some clanking. And then
Taps foot.
the door will open.
Looks around, folds arms. Hi. Good morning. This was in my. Sorry. I woke up. Someone had gone through my bag. This is a piece of paper that it just seems to have a bunch of Z's on it. Do you see anything in front of you right now? I'll sit in front of Morgane.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
No, just seems like it. You don't even see anything. It's a blank piece of paper. You know, nothing magical.
I'm afraid not. Perhaps I could check your room though.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Anything in the room?
Nothing magical in the room. Unless you keep anything magical on you, but that's the only thing that would come up.
Just normal crime happened.
Gross.
It was, but like, was it a crime though? I rolled too badly to tell.
Unless someone snuck in during the night and they're superbly quiet, this probably happened at some other point.
But
He eats pretzel.
where did you get those?
Last night.
Yeah, Dan's
I
cut to
don't know.
downstairs right now, and the bartender's reaching into his bowl. Fuck! And leans back.
Rip.
Tack will gather up all of their stuff and do one last like check around the room for anything weird, and then leave, I guess. So just to double check that I understand what it is. So my bag was open, and a piece of my paper had been folded so that it was like hooked over other stuff, so it was like sticking out. And
So
when
it
I
gets out.
pulled it out, and opened it up, it had it just
Well,
had
you didn't
Z's
even have
all
to
over
open
it.
up. It was kind of folded just at the top, so it could kind of hang out of the bag.
Oh, I see.
And then just the Z's are across. From
Okay.
one larger one getting smaller as if to mimic sleeping.
Okay. I'll shut the door behind me and say, well, thank you for looking. That's annoying.
If I see anything strange during the day, I'll let you know.
Thank you. I can't, it doesn't seem like anything's missing. It's just a piece of paper with Z's all over it. And so I thought maybe it had a spell on it or something, but it doesn't seem to. Are the Z's in like... Are they different sizes? Or
They
is
are.
it just...
They are. I would say they're kind of poorly written as well. So it's kind of like a couple of them could almost be like backwards S's at points, because it kind of seems like whoever's written them down or whatever's caused it to be written down has not the best calligraphy. But it is, larger one at the front, getting smaller.
Okay. All right. Well, I need something to drink. I don't know about you.
These bar snacks are very dry.
I don't know what's happened to you. Well, I mean, I do, but I enjoy this kind of fast and loose Morgane. It's interesting for me.
Fast and loose.
Yeah, before was hardcore oath Morgane stealing bar snacks for fun.
No one was serving food. I don't.
Just curious.
Both drink at the same time.
Yeah. both take a sip of something.
Oh my god.
Morgan will
I like
lower
to
the
think-
bar stacks.
This is like
Contemplate what was just said.
I like to think this is literally like how you guys interact in the morning. You're
Yeah.
just like looking at each other over coffee cups. Like
Yeah.
That's the difference between morning people and not morning people.
It's true.
Yeah, then tackle head downstairs, and I think the only other thing that they could think would be evading them would be that there's some sort of like code hidden here or something that they're missing. So I think they would, in the same way that they beelined for Morgane's room, would beeline for Carlisle.
Morning.
Hi, can you look at this for me?
Some energy to you.
Put some paper, in front of Carlisle. Does this look like anything to you? And don't say it looks like a paper with Z's. Not that.
Let me take a better look.
Does it
at
look like
now.
anything else?
Drastic looks over
Carl
her
puts
book.
down what he was working on.
Morgan will roll her eyes and go look for drinks.
Yeah, the guy behind the bars.
Get me a coffee, will you?
Oh,
Ask for one of the glasses up top.
Coffee?
Oh shit.
Never mind.
coffee beans. You think I'm made of money?
2 ales.
Oh, you're just gonna pours them into the
and
mugs.
And please,
Puts them
the
into
nice
mugs.
glasses.
The glass.
They've heard you.
Pushes the mugs across. With 3
You're a
coppers
doctor.
each.
If they get the bottom glasses.
Morgan will
that'd be
push out some coins. Feel for the coppers. Hand them over.
Scoops them in.
Yo, can I take a careful look at this paper? Decipher it for any kind of patterns or ciphers here.
I
Sure.
could show it to
Can't
Indrasa as
kinda-
well.
Morgan will
Yeah, and Dross
navigate
is
her way to the
peering
table
over
with
the
blind
book. Like,
fighting.
Yeah, fair
we
enough.
got Carlisle and Indrasa make a solid team of figuring out weird shit
Yeah.
on paper.
Go ahead, give
Yeah,
yourself a investigation check with advantage.
Investigation. Can I help? Can I help Indrasa?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
you
have,
want-
you can have
Yeah.
interest.
If
Okay,
it's
sorry.
investigation,
Yeah.
Indrasa. If it's anything else,
sure.
Carlisle.
Sorry.
I'll convey help.
I'll give
to
it to you this on this. It's not like a thieves can't
Okay.
thing. There's no hidden message there.
25.
You base this off of calligraphy. This calligraphy looks wonky, like it was written. It could be written with someone's mouth. It was written by like the hand of a child or something. It's very shaky, all over the place. What you'd probably notice is that it kind of drips off the ink a little bit as well. It doesn't look like you use much. It looks almost like a kind of a child's writing mostly, but nothing magical about it. No secret hidden things. The Zs are kind of inconsistent. They get a little bit better as they go on, as if the person kind of practiced them a couple of times, but that's about it.
I think as she's looking at it, Sestina's just sitting, trying to like make a Z out of her own body as she's looking at it
Cute.
as well. So, this is like if you were trying to write something upside down with your not dominant hand. It's very terrible penmanship, is what I'm saying. You just found it like this.
It was in my bag was open, and this is what was in there. Why would someone leave this in my bag?
It's like someone.
If they took the time to sneak into my room, not take, from what I can tell, not take anything from the bag, used my paper to write a bunch of Z's, put it back into my bag.
And Desmond, you were outside the.
That's
in
a
the
good
hall,
point.
And you didn't see anything.
Did I see anything, perceive anything through the night?
What a perception check.
Because I am aware visually the entire time.
I
I'm
am
listening.
going to use
Oh, it's a-
consultant, and I'm just gonna like start. Carlisle's gonna start reading out things that that he could have possibly seen there. So I'm gonna add
I like that.
I have my
double surgical die to this because I
That's a
have
9.
expertise. So
Ignore the guidance. I wouldn't have guidance myself during the
2D.
night.
You're gonna add a 12 to it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I got expertise in that. So.
So 11,
Okay,
23.
21, 23.
Don't remember seeing anything.
think
Going through it
Andros is
all
gonna
and you're
kind
pretty
of
confirmed.
hold up the paper. I assume there's like a lantern or something, right? This is your. She's sort of shaking it. This is your paper. You're sure it's not like someone
Pulls
else's
other paper out of bag.
Right, I mean, I guess
It
does
looks the same, right, Joe?
Yeah.
It's the same paper.
Takes another piece of paper and just sort of is like,
I mean, was there windows? There's windows.
I didn't even have a window. Did you have a window?
Joe, did I have a window?
Anyone have windows?
No.
No windows.
None of us had windows.
Sure.
Did you have that stitched bag of holding?
Oh yeah, who has that right now?
I don't know.
If I shake
don't
the
think I
paper,
have
does anything
If
happen?
we don't
I don't
know
know
who
who has
has it, there's no way Joe knows who has it. So that can't be it. So
So true.
You know
we're
what?
good on
You
that,
know
I
what?
think.
You're totally right. Yeah, I don't track your shit.
Just sitting there
Oh, yeah,
trying to be
wait, did we return
mysterious.
it to Vanderbilt?
Huh?
I don't remember.
Did we return it because we were renting
I don't think we
it?
returned it.
No, the
No,
other
we
one
kept
that
the
one.
stitched one. Yeah, we
Oh.
still
This
have
one's
it.
ours
We just
still.
don't remember
Yeah,
who
yeah,
has
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Morgane will
Well-
sit down and gingerly sip the ale.
Is there like what's on the table? Is there like a candle on the table or anything?
If there is, it's mostly worn down. It's not lit.
All right.
Well,
If I crumple the paper, does anything happen?
Yeah. The paper crumples.
Okay.
What if it was
God
like a
fucking
different
damn it.
version of you that wrote it on the paper?
you ever
Oh,
sleep
do you
right?
have-
Split personality?
Right.
People
If
do
what
some
if
stuff when they're about half asleep.
I
What is
hope you
your-
guys don't say shit like this around other changelings. This is so crazy.
what
I've
what is
never
your
met another
penmanship?
changeling.
Yes.
What does your penmanship look like when you're bin, right?
Ben can't write, so
It might look like this, right?
But
What if Ben
I
had a
get-
bad dream?
I'm not shape shifting in the middle of the night and then
But how-
dream
Well,
writing
how
these
You
about-
don't
to
know.
myself.
You
Considering
might.
there's not much it seems like we can do currently here, how about next evening we just have Desmond stay in there
I could
and
just-
keep an
I mean-
eye on you. Not to say you're doing
Fine.
something, but
No,
just
fine.
Just
to
don't know. It
cover.
could be some magical thing that's happening to you.
Someone
We don't know.
sneaking in
Just
and
being
writing
safe.
Z's on your paper. We want to protect the rest of your paper and also make sure nothing horrible happens to you in the middle of the night.
Honestly, we should be careful of paper. It's quite dear, isn't it? So
Where's V?
She's still asleep.
maybe V wrote it.
Prank master.
That's true. It's good prank.
V comes
We're
down
all
the stairs.
freaking out.
Good prank.
Did you like my prank?
What the fuck?
But it's totally different. It's not even that.
Yeah, V will finally get up and come downstairs, I guess. Her hair is like,
V has the most comfortable bed of
Oh,
everyone.
bedhead.
So it makes sense.
damn. Fuck yeah.
No, that's because
Is that rolled on?
no, that's because you're racial.
Because
What do you-
do you get like
Oh,
good
'cause of
rest
my
or something?
cocoon?
Yeah, you make a cocoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I make my little
Oh.
cocoon
she
with
just starts
with my
rewarding her
spit.
as a player.
Dude,
Just-
I love the idea that like we check out of a hotel and like they go up to clean the fucking room and there's just
A cocoon.
I love that.
off ripped open
Yeah.
cocoon shit
Yep.
fucking everywhere. The room's
Yeah,
ruined.
just blood.
That'd be terrifying, dude. Like a giant spider's egg.
Really, you would think
Yeah.
like a creature hatched.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
We can never
Straight
go back
up.
to this inn.
Yeah,
No.
word's gonna get around. They're gonna be like,
It's terrifying.
never rent them a room ever.
For what it's worth, for this day, I think Tack would be, and I don't know if I need to roll on this, but I think Tack would be really try to be more hyper aware of whether or not someone was watching them or showing up a lot in the crowd or things like that.
What I'll do is I'll give you a +3 to your passive perception to looking out for people, but a -3 to looking out for anything otherwise unusual. So it's kind of
Yeah,
a kind
sounds
of a,
good. I'm singularly
focus,
focused.
yeah.
Yeah,
looking at
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a couple of
If
ales.
we dilly-dally here for even a couple more moments, we are likely to receive another letter from that man.
God, yeah. What time is it?
Let us not dally.
Indrasa knows
You
exactly
came
what
down the
time it
stairs
is.
last.
She stares at you.
Sorry,
came
I'm
down.
irritated this morning.
It is okay. What is wrong?
Holds up piece of paper.
Points at paper. This was in my room
Someone's-
this
Paper
morning.
vandal.
Why is someone's name written
Egregious
over and
crap.
over again?
Oh. She could be fun. I didn't really think of that.
You know someone named
I'm
Z.
very
Is that
curious
what
to
you
ask this
said?
question. Yeah,
could
is this
be.
someone you know?
Do I know someone named Z?
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
What else could this be? I do not understand. What is Z, 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 Z?
That's
Well, it's
I don't know. I mean, worst case scenario.
For the sound of someone snoring.
Yeah, they could just be taunting you, saying they got into your
Snoring.
pack while you were sleeping.
whilst you were sleeping.
Can you demonstrate this onomatopoeia?
Yeah, you know how sometimes if someone. Well, actually, no. I guess no one really does.
Yeah, I've never
snoring,
actually heard someone say zzz.
Well, you might if you've got a sort of little whistle in your nose or something, right? You're like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, if you have some kind
It's
of.
meant to be the
breathing
sound
problem.
of snoring, correct?
If you have, like,
snore,
A
it's
palate tissue.
it doesn't matter. That's not what it is. Okay.
Some sort of soft palate
You snore?
problem or. Do you snore?
I don't.
You can't
I
ask
don't-
someone
I don't
that 'cause
know.
nobody knows if they snore.
Apparently,
You're
I'm going to be
If
babysat
someone-
tonight, so I
if
guess we'll
someone
find out,
knows
won't
had a
we?
note suggesting they
It's
snored.
not
Is all I'm saying.
babysitting, it's just making sure
Wait.
everything's okay.
Maybe
Yeah, because you guys think I
everybody else-
wake up in the middle of the night, shape shifting into a gremlin,
I never said I thought
writing
you were
myself
shape-shifting
letters.
into a gremlin.
No, it's more that, you know, you
It's
sort
even
of.
more possible that you may just be sleepwalking. That's a
Right.
That is a
normal thing.
condition.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Wait,
You just sort
about
of
that.
consider
That is a
all the
normal thing.
possibilities.
have we checked that anyone else got a note?
That's what I was just going to say, right? Did anybody else get a
I'll
note?
check
And
my
it
bag.
just looks in bag.
I mean, Carlisle, check.
No notes from anyone
Somebody
else.
has to look in Morgane's bag.
You want me to check for you, Morgan?
McCain doesn't own any paper, so there's something.
Morgane, there's a piece of paper in your bag.
It's all
So
Z's
weird.
and Braille.
She's got the two scrolls and then
That'd be incredible. This person truly committed.
Yeah.
Right?
Pranked. Ultimate prank.
For real.
I learned Braille for this prank. I mean, worst case scenario, this is looks around, trying to figure out how to vaguely say this. There is a person whose name begins with Z that it would be uncomfortable for someone to know I am associated with, if you understand what I mean.
Oh.
That would not. Right. Who would know?
I don't know.
Right.
This is
It
why I was
is-
hoping that it was magical, but Morgane didn't see anything, and you guys don't see anything aside from just a bunch of poorly written C's. So it's fine.
It is disturbing to think someone was in your room while you slept. Do you feel okay?
No, but Desmond will be with me tonight and make sure that everything's fine. So I appreciate that. And I'll try not to be an asshole for the rest of the morning. I'm just on edge. So, you're correct. We should get going.
All right. Well, maybe a nice breakfast with a guy who's way too into us.
And maybe some coffee. Look at the bartender.
He's asleep. He's like falling asleep with his out, and you see him go. You go.
Is he goes,
Like he's lets out the little kind of whistle. And
No Z's.
that's not a Z at all.
W's.
Look, you can see them.
Did we really get we didn't really get directions, like perfect directions. We know the dude's somewhere in the stem, right? Are we gonna have to ask
You
around for
were
this guy?
told.
Maybe.
The stem is the biggest area. Oh,
You were told.
We told to go
some
to the manor.
directions. Yeah, you were told. Located in the watered streets in the stem.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for the iron fence with the iron tips of wilted wheat. So,
Yeah,
Should
because
we
he's
ask
got
around
like a
about this
symbol
guy
that is like
first?
his symbol.
Yeah.
So
we should figure out if this guy's like a weirdo. Ask people who live here about him. Yeah. What if he skins
mean,
people for a
Don't you
living?
think it's weird that
If
you
if it is
Message
known
after
that he
message
skins
already.
people, I would be shocked if
Could
he
just
is
be
still
accusations.
allowed
oh, that's the
to live
local
here.
No
Skinner.
proof,
You're probably safe if he skins people, right? You're all right.
I'll be
at
fine, but
least.
you
Yeah.
guys. I'm worried about you.
Oh. Well, we can ask around, I suppose. I don't know that many folks will know who he is here, right? Should we just head towards the stem?
let's just head in that
I don't really
direction.
want to wake him up, points at our keep.
Yeah, if you head on out, right now, you guys, for the sake of you guys, you're probably located, because you said you were on a tavern closer to the stem, right? So you're probably around here, so adjacent to the stem. So it's not a far walk, within 10 minutes from where you are. You're already onto the kind of main streets that connect between the stem and the painted alleys. You can already get a kind of feeling of difference in not wealth necessarily. Painted alleys has a lot more poverty-ridden areas, but the stem is still common folk. So it's you'd wander in, you'd start to kind of notice that the buildings don't have as much paint on them. They're not painted like the painted alleys are literally named for the fact that most buildings are designed to look like they're murals and art pieces. But the moment you walk into the stem, you'd see that it's very crowded. You'd be walking past hundreds of people as you go down different streets, people heading into different shops. There's a whole kind of shopping alley filled with dozens of different types of shops and crafters and all sorts that you might look out for. And the one kind of glaring thing that you'd probably notice as you walk through into the stem is a lot of people walking around with hats in the style of frogs. You can see some people holding onto a frog. Some people are drinking, using this kind of little ichor and kind of put it onto their tongue, buying it from stalls nearby. You see a great almost balloons of frogs kind of being held up and sold out to people for just small amounts of copper. But it seems like there's some sort of festival going on. And people kind of cheering and selling different goods and merchandise, all frog related as you're going past and heading into the main streets. There's a kind of general, just kind of quite broad early morning atmosphere in the stem. Many people already awake, going to their workplaces. You can see dozens of guards who are just kind of lost in the crowds, kind of keeping the flow of people going. Less so outside of the main street. There is not many kind of carriages and whatnot brought in. Most people are kind of wheelbarrowing things back and forth to different buildings. But in the main street area, you would see horses and people going past. Depends where you guys are heading straight towards. Are you going to ask around in the back alley? Are you going to go towards the main street? So you're going to go, what's your plan?
I think if we had discussed that we wanted to talk to a couple people before we made our way there, it would be easy enough to sort of feign that we're more lost than we are, and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, we're looking for this place, and by the way, I hear he's a big shot, do you guys ever see him? What's he like? Sort of a thing,
Tell me everything.
So you'd probably be able to wander past a few people in the streets. You'd come across one person. You'd see this half orc who's kind of wheelbarrowing in some goods back and forth into a building nearby, carrying in crates. And he stops and kind of wipes his brow and goes, Cworth? Mostly keeps to himself in that manner of his. It's just 2 streets down.
Oh, it's so close.
Not too far from here. just off the shoots of the main streets. Yeah, it's,
Oh, all right, fantastic.
look for
We're
the
supposed to
Iron
be-
Face building, the Iron Fence building.
We're supposed to be meeting him, but we've never met him before. So I was just wondering if, if anybody sees him around really, or.
No. Kind of alone at that one. I've done some deliveries there before, but just different, just kegs of filled with salted meats and whatnot. But no, can't really give you much of him. There's a lot of lords are coming in and out. A lot of them stick to themselves. There's not many in this area though. If you really want the nobility and you're looking for those lot, Mirror District or just past the castle. It's your best bet.
Gotcha.
Kinda
Thank
looks
you
at
so
the-
much.
Of course. Lifts another barrel. Begins walking inside.
All right. Well, we were headed in the right direction anyway, so that's good.
You heading straight to the
There is
water
them.
streets?
I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty blanket. Like, yeah, not much we're gonna get out.
If
of
he's
this.
a loner,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He doesn't really leave his house, but
If,
also he's not. He's. I love the idea of like, yeah, he's a noble, but like, he's not
noble.
Low level.
he's not a noble. Yeah.
working
Other
man.
Like, there's
nobles,
years,
okay?
yeah.
If we see someone passing by with a frog balloon, Sestina will kind of mold herself into a frog shape, and Indrasa will just be like, "Excuse me,
Get your balloons of luck, balloons of yes."
what is all this frog business? What's going on here?"
Festival of the Croak. You not been here for the Festival of the
Festival of-
Croak? It lasts for 4 days. It's one of these balloons will bring you luck for the entirety of the festival.
Really? Is that a guarantee?
Festival of the
Well, if you believe in the story of the Croak.
typically mean to go kind of
Oh.
conclude this mortal coil more specifically.
Ours is named after the fact that the frogs here bring you luck. They always have historically in the city of Marigold. So we celebrate luck for the next 4 days. Care for a balloon?
Is that? Wait, that's it. That's the whole story. How do you know a frog brings you that?
There must have been something that happened
Like,
with the
what
frog.
happened?
Of course. It was an
It's-
outbreak.
uh,
Frogs
an
all
outbreak.
over the city. They covered the streets of the stem. And during that
that's a
time,
plague.
And the,
people just found themselves having all sorts of luck. Though the outbreak lasted for 14 days. But there's too many festivals to be had at the moment, so the Croak one has been brought down to 4.
Oh, that's a shame. So wait, where did the frogs come from? Was there a delivery that went awry, or?
Oh, I don't bloody know. I just sell the balloons. If you'd like to buy a balloon, though, there are people. I've got some friends down there, right? My cousin's cousin is selling actual frogs if you want to buy one. That'll last longer than the festival, though I can't say that it actually lasts all the way the 14 days. Most people find their luck happens during the festival. You know, good moods and that. So if you'd like to buy a balloon, though, it's only 3 copper pieces.
I don't. I'll tell you what. Can I just give you 3 copper pieces, but not get a balloon? I don't know. I don't want to really carry one around, but you can give it to someone else.
Yeah, right. Give it to someone
Maybe
else.
I'll
Okay,
get a
sure.
bit of luck.
They hand the hand to you.
She gives him 3 copper.
Appreciate that. Pops it in his pocket. Selling balloons. Festival of the Croak. Get your good luck. Carries on, kind of saying.
Just shakes her head.
Where are the frogs for sale?
Not too far down, you've got someone set up their stall on the side of the road. You can see where it's kind of like going around a corner. They've kind of got this rounded stall where they've got a series of crates of different coloured frogs, some greens, blues, reds, and they've kind of all the different frogs and different ones. You can see they've kind of piled a few of them together. The bar's kind of close enough. Some of them have little bits of water in them and little kind of like pools, but some of them are just straight up just quite ugly cages. And they're going, frogs for sale, get your frogs. 3 silver a frog, 3 silver a frog. Get your luck. Buy one now, go betting down in the painted alleys, win way more. And you see a couple people coming over, buying a frog and kind of opening up the cage or taking them home.
Are there frog races? Is it betting and painted?
well, I think this is general gambling.
Oh,
in
not
the, Painted
necessarily
Alleys is what it sounds
frog related. Right, because it's luck. That probably makes more sense. I thought there was going to be a frog fighting pit or something.
I don't want to see frogs fighting.
I didn't really either. I was unsure how that would work. Wouldn't it just jump out?
Wondering this, people just outright go up to the guy and ask, "What do they use the frogs for?"
Would you use the frogs for luck? Yeah, it's all for luck.
And then what?
And then what? Sorry.
You said they take them to the painted alley. Why?
Oh, well, some people like to hold on to them whilst they roll some dice. So to bring you luck, so, help out with those dice rolls. Spend 3 silver here, go bet 20, you'll come back with 40 in no time. Then you can buy 10 more.
Where do you procure these frogs?
Oh, all sorts of places, love. We go outside the city, we find them by ponds, all sorts. Had some of them shipped in myself. This one over here was a very rare one. Comes all the way from the southern ends of Harvest Lands. That's right. It's a rare frog. It's called the Global.
The what?
Global. Yeah, it's got a painted back.
What's its back look like? Is it like colorful?
It's got these spotches of kind of this like a greyish blue spotches on a green frog.
Okay.
This one exceptionally rare.
How much do you want for it?
Well, the global's gonna be 5 silver. That one's much better. That's gonna give you much
Done.
higher chances. Done. All right.
She starts handing him the money.
Takes the cage.
That ownership is a big commitment.
It is not for me.
Hands it across to you.
All right.
What does it eat?
Oh, I don't know, bugs. I don't feed him much,
You don't-
That seems cruel.
I'm not
How
a
much
pet
to buy all
owner.
of your frogs?
Counts as like 15 frogs. I mean, well, 50 silver overall, I'd say.
Done.
All right. He takes just starts handing across all of these.
She's just gonna set them
cages.
free into the fucking streets.
You can see the moment you start doing that, people are like, oh, and they just chase after the frogs trying to grab them and missing them. Oh, no, people trying to grab them up.
Oh. But the Glorbo. What was it, Glorbo or
Global.
Glorbo.
Global.
Does the Glorbo? Are the splotches like actually part of the frog? They're not like
were
painted
they
on.
painted on?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
If they're,
You can check.
Are they? I mean, I can check, but also I won't be able to tell. I have 0 nature. No, wait, I guess I do. Sure, I'll try it. 12.
How would you check?
All right, what's Andrasa?
Lick it.
She's gonna just sort of like lean in and just kind of stare at it and maybe poke it.
If you poke it,
To
you'd
see.
see there's no. It kind of feels a little bit crustier, but it's a little bit less wet. But it seems kind of embedded onto it. But it doesn't cause any. It doesn't kind of. It doesn't wipe off.
I just thought maybe the splotches were painted on, but I realized I've never really just sort of picked up frog to know what they should just feel like all the time. So I just like wipe her hand off on her.
if it is painted on, it'll come off in due time. What are you planning on doing with it?
I want to give it to Richard.
Oh,
I think it would be good for him.
have a look.
Maybe he could dress it up. He could feel like the master of his life.
I see.
That's a good
All
idea.
right.
That's very sweet.
All of us like really contemplating what exactly that means while we walk. This feels like a Goofy and Pluto situation now.
Yeah, dude. It really is. While we walk, V is going to put the little frog in like I'm trying to think. She has like a
Accidentally
waist
puts it
tie
in the
around her waist.
bag
She's
of
gonna
holding.
make like a little kangaroo pouch in that part. So there's a little frog there, and then she's gonna grab like a stick off the ground or like some twigs or something, and then using her ability to make like a cocoon, she's gonna make like a little net to stick like bugs to as they like move around to get food for it.
Nice, clever. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking Shrek
You see
ass
this,
over here.
this first moment where you
Like Shrek.
where you tie it around in the belt. You see this first moment where it's trying to like get free, and it just kind of gives in, just kind of stays there and waits, and then he's got the stick. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a frog look totally resigned?
Yeah. It is. As far as it's aware, it thinks it's lost prey, but it gives in and waits for the stick. And you get yourself a,
Don't worry,
a
you're
frog
just
belt.
gonna get dressed up.
Yeah, once I have some like bugs on the little like stick, I'll like put the stick next to it so it can just like reach out with its tongue and like grab the bugs.
Yeah, you can see once you kind of collect some by just kind of moving around a little bit and taking some time with it, you attach it and you can see it squirms a bit and then it slows down when it sees them and it starts picking them off and then it calms. Do an animal handling check though.
Oh god.
I believe.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell
Okay.
yeah.
Let's go.
10.
Okay. Let's count for now.
It's not
For
awful.
now.
For now.
For now.
Bree, you
at
get
some
like
point this
3
frog
nat
is gonna
20s per
freak.
session, so one of them will be for this frog, I believe.
Yeah. So good.
But yeah, you'd be walking past, going through the Festival of the Croak, and moving past kind of the. It depends if you want to go through the main street or the back alleys, but the back alleys would get you towards your location. Just depends if you want to go past the shops and whatnot, or if you're heading straight there. If you're heading straight there, it's only 2 streets down, past where the frogs are being sold.
Let's walk through the
Go
shop.
get there
see
for
what's-
breakfast, man.
See what's around.
Yeah, I mean, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
go through the main street to see what's there, but I think we would not want another messenger. So
I don't think there's any intention to stop, but I'd like to like
Yeah.
see what we're walking by
Yeah.
as options for afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
efficiency.
And also just not cut through an alley where what if someone
Get
runs out
stabbed.
and they try to stab V and they stab the frog? God forbid something happens.
shit.
It's like think
Oh
about
my
it. Like,
god.
Holy shit.
Don't give him
Why
any
did you?
somebody
ideas.
write
Why
that
did you
down?
put that out into the universe?
Fuck.
because if I say
got you
first
this
that
dead
Joe
frog.
can't fucking do it without us all knowing that I put the idea in his head, he won't fucking do it now.
That's true.
That's fair.
He can't do
Except
it.
for now he
Dude,
might.
stop
so
doing
he
this,
can
stop
be
doing
like,
this, man. You're gonna guess my
You
stories.
saved the frog's life.
Yeah, in the main street, when you wander out into the main street, you can see, having kind of now probably 7:30, after a time gone by of you all eating and whatnot, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. The town's starting to come alive, the main street's starting to come alive with all of the stores opening up, and the major locations kind of opening. And at this point, early in the morning as well, you can see a whole kind of gathered crowd, which block the main portion of the street, where you could go to cross over. It's going to be awkward. You have to get through like bunches of people. But on the kind of side of the road you're on right now, you can wander in and kind of see the shop fronts up the strip. But in the center of town, kind of walking through it, where all of the crowds have gathered either side, they're watching as knights wander through the streets, heading towards All Garden, far up. You guys are kind of right in the center here. And the knights that are wandering through, you can easily see them over the crowd, because they stand at a minimum of about 12 feet tall. All of them, probably every now and then you would see one with some humans as their kind of procession, and they're like the fighters, squires, and general procession. You can see ogres, knighted ogres, wearing armored plates on them, large kind of anywhere between chainmail and plate armor, as they kind of wander through. Some of them have these great swords, great axes. And you can see these are soldiers that are going, or knights that are going towards the Tournament of the Tool, which will be happening at some point. People are cheering, calling out their favorite ogres, calling out their favorite fighters and competitors. You would see among them everyone kind of pushing past and trying to get reach in and call for this one. You see this tall ogre, bald, dark skin. You can see kind of a couple of scars on his face, which are almost like flashing white. against his kind of very dark skin. You can see his eyes quite thin, but staring forward. A softened kind of beard kind of come around his chin, but wearing gallant armor trimmed with gold. Is this great ogre. People calling out his name of Golaron the Dragon Hunter, as they were kind of cheering him, Golaron, over here, over here. He just smiles, and he's this kind of great glinting smile, quite unusual for an ogre, with very pearlescent white teeth. Smiles, kind of calling his hands to the crowd, walking beside this massive dire horse, triple the size of a normal horse. You can see it's huge, big, muscular being. Kind of brings it alongside him, just kind of smiling and waving at the crowds as they go by. But you can see this kind of procession of knights wander towards the tournament of the Tool. And down the main strip itself are many, many different shops. You have... I'm just going to hit you up with some names as you wander. There's the Downcast Galore, a medical shop. Mending Matters, you'd see. The smaller embedded shop of Jilix the Glowing Wrench, the one you have to see. You've got a shop called Familiar Friends, which is a pet shop. Arcane Brews, which is a potion shop. Anvil and Bellows, a blacksmith. Before Adventure, a general goods store. Intact Soul, a cobbler. Yets and Bokers, a pottery shop. Crust Monster is a bakery. Feather of the Phoenix.
Good fucking name.
That's a very good name. Love that.
Feather of the Phoenix is a scribe and library. Adamantine Vaults. You can see this great big, quite blocky building, which is a bank, a dwarven bank. You've got Marigold's Courier Deliveries and Package Services Station, which is a courier. You've got Chester's, which is a toy shop. You can see all the different kind of things in the window. Depending on the shop you go to, I'll describe them in more detail. There's a Temple of Kyver, and there's a Temple of the Sleeper down the main strip. Among other just general shops, if there's something you're seeking, I can kind of give it to you as well.
I wanted to ask, do when we're seeing different like people walking by to join this tournament, do I see Lumaba's best friend? Do I see Goliath and the Beast?
Ooh.
Good question.
Was his name Giant? I think his name was Giant.
That's
Giant
so
and the
funny.
Beast.
It was.
I literally just saw his name when I was going through my notes. What was that?
Because he was coming here to join a tournament.
Yeah, you'd probably see him come alongside with him.
Hell yeah.
People would probably back away from it, though, seeing the Displacer Beast next to him as he wanders through the crowd. What's quite unusual about him, because you'd see a few Goliaths there. The Goliaths are the smallest of them here. And even then, like, each of these Goliaths is fairly tall. They look dwarfed by the ogres beside them.
It was Giant and the Beast, by the way.
Yeah. You'd also see among that crowd 2, maybe 3 Krigven as well. The larger kind of bear ones. You can see a brown bear one, and then a 2 kind of polar white bear folk as they kind of wander in there as well, having traveled from quite far across.
Nice.
But yeah, and then and also because I separated them, you'd see a couple of taverns as well. There'd be 3 in the local area which you can visit in the stem. There's Dalla Nirel, which is an elven one. It's a nicer building, quite exquisite. It's got all of these series of rooms. Kind of, you can see they bought out the 3 houses next to them. You can see all the rooms kind of coming around on balconies and these themed rooms. And then the only other one on the main strip is Merry and the Old Mottled Boot, which seems to be kind of like a hill-shaped building as a halfling-run tavern.
Okay.
I can try and get. I'll get
back around here once we're done with our breakfast.
Yes, indeed. Huh. All right. I hope this food is good.
Give me a second. I'll just quickly send you guys the list.
And that there's coffee. Looks
Yes.
Okay. 2 secs. I'm just going to send you guys the list of buildings. I just have to delete some of the words so I don't spoil it for you.
Gosh, I hope you get them all and don't leave any by mistake.
Yeah, that's what I'm making sure.
That'd be so.
He's so
embarrassing.
bad.
Just
It's
one
mostly the
slip by.
DM description stuff that I don't want to spoil. Okay. Like who runs the shops and stuff, you know.
Sure.
Almost
Do
done.
any of the signs have like a really poorly drawn Z in the name?
Hold on a second.
Takes a piece of paper out.
Okay. I think I got them all. Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, it's basically just showing you what the shops are. Okay. And then wandering through the main street and kind of hooking off of there to go down to the street you're in search for. You'd see the watered streets are named because it's on a slight decline. Where the kind of like almost the drainage of the town kind of goes down into there. So there's a slight decline going down, a couple of stairs to help with it as well. But this is where anytime it rains, it kind of pours down, goes through here. So a lot of the time the ground is wet here. Which it probably would be because it rained, I think, the previous day. It was raining in Little Petal at the time. So you'd see the kind of damp ground here, and you can see where some of it's puddled at the bottom near the grates. And as you wandered into the street, it's a little quieter, a little off the road. You'd see the iron bars that lead up to these wilted wheat symbols. Instead of like spiked tops, you can see wheat that's kind of bending over, always kind of hedging downward towards where the hill's declining. And then some steps that lead up past an iron gate towards the front of this manor. It's one of the only buildings which is not adjoined to other buildings. It has an iron fence going around the full manor. A very, very small garden which is kind of lined around the outside of it. Which seems a little bit overgrown, but a little bit tended to, but mostly overgrown. But seems to be its own kind of standoff manner in itself. And the windows themselves are mostly kind of painted over, and they've got kind of nice painted glass on them. But it's mostly been put in there to stop people peering in. But you found the manor.
Is there an obvious way to alert someone that we are here?
You can go straight up to the iron gate. It seems it doesn't seem like it's locked at the gate. It seems like it's more something you can latch and open to walk up to the main door.
Okay. I'll walk up to the door and knock.
It opens before we can because they're waiting.
I lift a hand. Hello!
Oh my god, you're finally here.
There is a quiet moment before the door opens. It opens fully. And so there is pale skin, long, very straight hair that comes down to his shoulders. A pale Dhampir. You can see on his belt he has two swords, scimitars, that kind of curl around, but they're both in sheaths on both sides of his belt. And he's wearing kind of almost this kind of fine overcoat that kind of buttons on the left side, almost quite militaristic. Sharp, comes up, almost Victorian-like collar that goes around to his neck, sharp against it, only really exposing the skin of his face. He kind of steps back a little bit to getting blinded by the light outside, and says, his guests have arrived. If you'd like to come in inside.
Thank you. Walks in.
He steps aside and allows all of you entry. Inside is the kind of the general cloakroom you walk into. Seems quite dark. The atmosphere in here, it seems like they don't let in too much sunlight. A lot of candles lit in the main room, and you can see, with your passive perception, Carlisle, you'd notice a series of letters, very similar to the ones that were sent to you guys, on the front of the kind of like the where the coat rack is. There's a small kind of like front desk, filled to the brim with like about 20 letters, all just kind of disheveled there, and the side rooms are quiet. You've got kind of a lounging area, cushioned, but you can see as he closes the door behind you, he goes, if you would like to follow me this way, I'll take you to Lord Cworth. Please, if you do not mind taking off your shoes. You see, there is not dust. It's not dusty in here. It does have a little bit of an older smell to it. The wood has a kind of a damper smell. But he says,
A dampier smell.
Yes.
Hate it.
Yes.
Thank you. Takes off shoes.
Thanks, up.
Yeah, I mean, Carlisle, take his shoes off.
Morgane would take off like the main pieces of the armor, so she's not just like fully armored with like grippers out.
Yeah, who's taking the dogs out, guys?
Thea will take her shoes off, but she's leaving her stockings on.
"Feel free to keep onto your weapons. Lord Cogworth has it in
Just no shit.
firm belief that you are all to be trusted. Would know
All right.
that if he is wrong."
Files that away.
I'll leave my weapon at the door.
Okay.
I'm keeping mine.
Desmond can't. He is the weapon. He's
I
already
am the
people
weapon.
Stab, 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 stab.
What do you mean he can't? He carries
He'll
around a
leave
giant
his,
crossbow.
he'll leave his spear, but like everything else is technically just tools. So.
I am the weapon, crossbow on back.
I don't hold it. My crossbow is me.
Yeah.
Not the turret you set up, is it?
No, that thing.
Okay, not that.
He
Where do I keep that?
he
It's your backstory.
turns and begins walking through, allowing you to follow him. You pass by kind of the kitchens and the lounging area, and he'd lead you into a dining room, where you can see food has been prepped. All of these seats have been put out for you all. There's 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and then one kind of far at the end for him. But he's not sat there at the moment. And you can see the kitchen door is kind of slightly open. You can hear this kind of someone's kind of like talking quickly and kind of ordering out some orders in the kitchen. And the damper kind of puts his arm behind his back and says, "If you'd like to have a seat, he'll be out here in a moment."
Thank you very much, Mr. I was trying to get his name.
He looks towards you. Killian.
How do I spell that?
Cillian.
Killian Murphy?
Oh my god, Killian Murphy's a dampier? That's so crazy.
Oh my god.
I'm changing the name.
Good for him.
With those fucked up blue eyes right now.
There was something wrong with that guy.
Why'd you call him fucked up? What's wrong?
He's watching this right
blinded.
now.
People with
Hot
really blue
possum.
eyes look a little scary.
Awesome.
Hot possum.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
And he steps one side out of the room and wanders into the kitchen, which you'd hear like, I know. And then shortly afterwards, coming out and kind of delivering like a platter of food, you can see a series of these servants, humans, dwarves, elves, just coming out, almost like a catering company. Step out and they place these platters of food. You've got kind of freshly caught fish, meats, breads, cheeses. It seems like someone spent a good like probably 50 to 60 gold on just the platters of everything you can kind of grab hold of. Morning breakfast sausages, bacons, tomatoes, some fruits, and a bowl, and kind of place them in the center of the table. You can see each of the
To eat paid off.
the plates that are put out in front as well have like sections where you would put extra cutlery, but he's only really put forks and spoons there for everyone. You can see almost this awkward element of not really knowing how to be a noble. So the food's kind of played out,
Cute.
and then each of the couriers or the caterers. Sorry.
Another 5 letters are
Bless
delivered
you.
by
Yeah,
him
right.
to us.
Yeah.
So glad you finally arrived, dude.
They leave straight through the front door. They leave after serving the food, and don't really say a word. And you can see the damper goes and closes the door. And stepping into the room. First of all, giving you all a minute. Do you sit down? Do you stand? Do you wait? What do you do?
Carlisle sits.
Sit down.
Okay.
Morgane would wait.
I like that he wasn't already seated, which would have been way too much, given that he also sent us like 5 million letters. Like he's just waiting in the dining room, like
waiting there.
Empty glasses, like he's been sitting here all night.
Yeah.
I didn't know what time you guys would be here, so I've been awake since 2 a.m.
You see as he wanders around, and you would see for the first time Lord Cogworth, who is a Gif, which is a hippopotamus person. You can see he's wearing kind of large kind of fineries. Whatever he's kind of almost got this very similar to the Dampier, a kind of a pulled over coat. You can see his one has kind of like a couple of medals on it that he keeps there quite proudly. And you can see this is something he probably hasn't worn in a long time because it seems a bit too small for him. He's put on a lot of weight since wearing it last. So you see he's kind of pushed in a little bit. And you see his kind of broad features, greying kind of puffs of hair that come through. He steps through and kind of nods his head and sits on the larger chair right at the end and goes, well met to the 6 of you.
Oh my god.
I apologize. I'm for being overeager. Please, have a seat. Pick as any food you wish.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well met to you.
I'm Lord Hervacius Cogworth, and it is my pleasure to have you as guests within my manor. I don't often have guests, which might be obvious. He looks at the Dampier kind of like a little bit worried and kind of looks across all of you.
Do you don't often have guests because you don't want to, or you just...
Yes. I don't often join in with the pleasantries of noble society too often.
I don't blame you.
Of course, Lady Gondrasa. I recognize that you have a deep history in the nobility of the world. You'd have a grand time, I believe, in the inner circles of the Miller District and by Wall Garden, but I'm afraid this is the best I can do. Please.
Quite nice.
The apples are brought in fresh from the orchards just this morning.
So, not to be rude and cut to the chase here, but seems like that eagerness to meet with us implies some level of something you do want to talk about.
Yes.
I could just be a fan. It's understandable.
I am a fan of sorts, though I believe it's probably quite a one-sided relationship. But I know much of your comings and goings.
Parasocial.
What how did you hear of us?
Motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to. Of course, I've pictured doing this for the last few weeks so many times, and I feel very awkward with the idea of diving straight into the matter. But perhaps you're forthright. You want me to be frank. Well, I've heard a lot of rumors of everything.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
About
that
us?
I have seen everything you've been up to.
Everything.
As a collective, I should say.
What did we do last night? No, wait. What did we do 2 nights ago?
2 nights ago.
Last night we were in the tavern. That was easy.
Resting up in your campsite.
You are watching us.
Well,
You are
technically,
spying. on us.
spying is more correct. But with good intention, I promise. He kind of looks up to the Dampier, who's this guy.
I should hope so, because you understand how that sounds.
I understand this is
Right,
why.
sure.
All the more reason to
going
kind of
wrong.
arrive at the point of all this faster.
She's going wrong. She's
For
going
the sake of understanding why you were spying on us.
Yes, I understand. I wanted to bring into things, but I didn't expect. Perhaps it is better if I show you with a little bit of trust to begin with. Rumour, club, if you will. It's about time. He sits down waiting for me.
What?
Club, you're embarrassing me.
Looks
Morgan,
around.
you recognize
like,
this name?
Mm.
Oh,
Is it on to list?
Club.
To epic list.
Clarb.
there was.
I
And
think I do recognize that.
in a moment, Pack, when you sat down, where did you put your pack?
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It would be on me still.
You'd see this awkward moment where you feel where the strap is. It starts morphing, become this almost like orange purple. And then the whole pack swarms into this purplish orange blob with an eye that floats through it. It goes. It just pukes all your stuff onto the ground. But it comes out dry, but it kind of pushes it all out.
Pushes away
regurgitating.
from the table, stands up.
What the
Apologies, Club. You
fuck?
could have done that a little easier. And you see it
What?
crawl up and kind of climb onto the far end of the table and come up, and then the eye just goes.
This is how you've been watching us.
Precisely, though I wished he would have perhaps done that with a little bit more grace.
For what reason?
How does...
He's been with you for some time. Since Crown Heart Hall, in fact.
Oh my god.
Though accidentally attached himself to you, but evidently fate would have it that it was quite fortuitous.
What did Clarb see in Crownheart Hall?
Well, everything you did. Everything from the beginning until where we are now.
Oh my god, they know about spring.
Yeah, they know about everything.
Everything, yeah.
Now, before you do anything rash, I would like to venture into your goodwill for a moment, and hope for some
That is a
understanding.
very good idea.
You can try.
Quickly.
You can see of everyone, Killian is closest to UV, with just kind of hand on his belt, having kind of been pre-warned. Right, all right.
That this might go bad.
Club, here
Morgana's
is...
gonna slowly get up and leave the room. and start putting on her shit.
What I have to say would be of great interest to all of you, I promise
You can say it to my
You
colleagues.
should just start talking, Lord Cworth.
Right, where do I start? We have a mutual interest. That is to be said, the news of the apocalypse, of everything to do with the Sun Children, these vaults, I was aware of these things prior to you. It has
How
been-
were you aware of them prior to us?
I suppose I'll go back to the beginning. In my younger years, I was an investigator, a detective, if you will. I'd be hired to look into matters which would be beyond that of the local guard. Sometimes missing persons, often mysteries, sometimes magical. And one particular one has stuck with me for a long time. I'm not sure how aware you all are of my history, but I was given land in the year of 456, 4 decades ago. And I was done so because I aided the people of the Harvest Lands, Plentyfields, a town named Plentyfields, with a war. But what I know of that war is deeper. The war itself is one of rot and decay. The War of Rotten Grain was what it was called at the time. And I was asked to investigate into how it came to be. See, the war itself began with farmers starting to find their crops decaying, rotting. They started to find things withering. It began with wheat fields. The farmers themselves did not believe it to be a blight. They believed it to be something more, something unworldly. And so they hired me. Plentyfields at the time was closer to blaming them. Angered that the food supplies and their quantities might be lackluster that year. And eventually that war led into undead. I began to search. The harvest lands started to go through this blight of an unnatural means. And a figure rose. One named Kalir Saradin. Or Saladin. Another figure who was in the vaults, up until recently. The Dread Vault, that is. They know him as the Half-Lich. Now, as the story goes of this war, he rose to power. He was a tormented young wizard with a cruel family. And he rose those who had died from the blight into an army to attack Plentyfields as a means of retaliation, revenge. His attack was thwarted. He was captured.
Morgane will come back in holding a sword and sit back down. It's still sheathed. She just like sit down and lean on it.
The Damper just kind of watches both you and V mostly. At the time, they believed it was a simple case of coincidence, a lich using the prospect of a blight that it was happening to raise an army to get his revenge. But when I investigated into it, I found more. I found cults following this matriarch of rot, a figure that the people of Plentyfields and the harvest lands and the knights that were sent to look into it and to fight back against this oncoming undead did not pay much heed to. They focused on one thing, and that was the Half-Lich. But I found his family. I found his writings. And I found someone had written to him. Or at least used him as what I believe to be called a herald. This figure, the matriarch of rot, went by another name. When I interrogated the cultists and captured them, I found that they went under the name Decay. Decay being one of the children of the three. The old gods. Now, Kalir wasn't a lich or a tormented soul that was using his opportunity to rise. He was a herald of decay, a chosen by his own writings. He was influenced, given power, given the means to rise up, and told to attack. I knew prior to any other that his main target was to attack Plentyfields. And after doing so, take the army that he would form from diseasing and corrupting those people there. And raise it for some other nefarious means. Decay wanted an army. But when Kalir was defeated, outside of the Plentyfields, they didn't care about why. The wardens had their prisoner, they had their leader. Any of the followers were seen as occultist wizards following in a lich's footsteps. I tried to warn them that there was more to this, that another herald would be chosen in time, that this is just the beginning, that this decay figure is a figure of the ancient old world, a dangerous figure to be warned against, and they saw it as nothing more than the ramblings of a madman. For a time, I believed it might be the case as well. But when they gave me money, when they gave me plot and land, I became obsessed with the idea of uncovering more, that this could happen again. I decided to take on the symbol of the Wheated Wheat. To make it my prime focus. To understand exactly why I was given this land, and I put money and resources for decades into looking into the other children. Now, how it comes into you, and how I learned of you. Well, the vaults that you have discovered are mostly unknown. They are, at least the locations that you saw, you are further ahead than any other, I know. But there are 2 vaults which have been found. They are just kept very quiet. One is in the capital city of Neverset, deep beneath the city itself, but it is unopened. The religion of Lux, their people have not been able to open it. But there is another that is opened, here in Marigold. Now, 8 blessings ago when it opened, my contacts informed me of it and its existence. I had some informants connected to the Luxian people. I sold up my land there and I moved here as soon as I could, to be closer to it, to try and weave my way into the politics here, and it was no good. I wasn't very good with that portion of things. People could see me reaching and if I got too close, but at the time I had a friend, one introduced through criminal organizations that I shall not name, but he points over towards Clarb, who is just kind of blinking and looking at all of you. And you see the way it's blinking, it's almost like its shade goes off and on, and its kind of eye looks like it kind of opens and closes. Clarb and I became quite decent friends. I paid him a healthy sum of money, and he would spy on others for me. The more I looked into things, the more I realized that there was talkings of these other children. Each of them separated. The other children being that of nightmares, blood, decay, pestilence, shadow, rage, desire. The 7 children of the 3. I worried each of them would have heralds. And Clarb, who had previously done a stay in the vaults before, in the Dread Vault, decided to give the opportunity to infiltrate the Dread Vault. His idea, not mine, but he believed that he could get closer to Killir. If he could speak to the Half-Lich in the lower levels of that Dread Vault, he could send a message for me. I wanted to ask him if Decay knew of the others, if other heralds had been chosen. Unfortunately, Clarb was captured as seen fit, placed in the Dread Vault. But the Dread Vault takes a toll. And as much as Clarb believed it could escape, he was unfortunately unable to. So, for the last 8 blessings, I have not heard from my friend. Our connection was cut off. He has a unique skill. He is part plasmoid, part mimic. He can bond with one another, and through them create a telepathic bond of imagery, if you will, though it was gone, cut off by whatever Dreadvault's magic was there. Until not too long ago. Clarb hid himself in one Sir Kithic's travelling pack. He decided that the best way to escape the vault was to be attached to them, the last place they would look. Besides, they always underestimated his skill, thinking he was simply a plasmoid who could hide in corners and whatnot. They didn't realize how skilled he was. That brought him to Crownheart Hall, where he sought to slip away, and during which what happened ignited him into choosing the next room he could go into. He slipped into the room, became a pack, and Moon, Tak, Zonia, whatever you wish to go by, you picked him up, and he has remained in this form since. Consuming only small rations, probably quite hungry, but conveying me imagery of your crew. And of course, things became quite relevant to my investigation, so I asked him to remain with you. Though curiously, I will say this, that I believe you were unaware of. When you left Crownheart, when you were transported, there was a day in which you missed, a few days. Clarb's mind also cut off during that time. But the strange thing first for me is that the last image I got was after the teleportation was you did not arrive in a field. You arrived in a castle. It was at least rocks or the interior of a castle, and then it went dark, and then the next time he contacted me, he was with all of you in the field. A few days later.
What the fuck?
Since then, though, he's been sending me imagery and keeping quiet, and it has led you here. I didn't know when I'd get the opportunity to meet you, and I apologize for being overeager, but there are so few people I can speak to about all of this. And I've learned so much through you.
If there are so few people that you can speak to, something that I think we all understand, what in the hells took you this long to reach out? Why on this plane or any other did you think it was a good idea to just keep watching and not say anything? How did you think this conversation was going to go?
Not well, and the longer I left it, worse. To be quite honest. I was hoping to... After a nice meal, it might help ease things, but... I wanted to. The first time I was tempted to was after you came out of that vault. Prior to that, it was intrigue and vested interest, but when you left that vault, I was tempted to, but I was worried. Worried that whatever you'd seen down there might have changed your opinions. I wanted to see if perhaps if you would change at all. These children have a means of manipulating those they come in contact with, and I was concerned. And then when I... Yes?
I assume that this is leading toward you intending for us to work together in some way or form with this Marigold vault and potential other vaults in the future. But you understand, you've created this situation where you have a lot of power now. You know things that were told in confidence between all of us. Things
Perhaps
that...
even things we haven't even shared with each other.
You understand my frustration here.
Oh. Absolutely.
So how are you going to equalize this power imbalance now? Because we can't work together, really. We are essentially being blackmailed without you saying it. You've made it clear how much you know.
Every single thing that we know. And all we know is that you stopped a war and you've been doing your own research.
Yes.
If you say that you're going to share everything that you've learned with us, how do we know that it's actually everything?
Truth. And everything, yes. I don't know. What I do know it's not worth anything, but I trust your motives. And so even if this is the last portion where I am even remotely allowed to discuss this, if you cut me out after this, then I understand entirely. And I deserve that, most likely, for not being quicker to trust. But my hope is that regardless of this outcome of this conversation, that you will have gained some information from me that might help in your journey going forward and the mission you have set out for yourselves. Ultimately, all I wish for is to stop whatever is happening from happening. And if my part to play is just helping you in this one small moment, then that is my part to play. But I am an open book to anything you wish to ask of me, but I can tell you that in your short few weeks of traveling together, you have learned probably more than I have learned in decades. Though I do have some things I can share.
Who opened the vault in Marigold?
That I do not know. What I do know, though, is that when it opened, the only ones to know about it were the religion of Lux, Luxian priests and clerics, and the House of Okra, who allows them to look into it. Right now, Lux has a strong, almost hold over this city. There is a power dynamic that is, the House of Okra I believe to be inferior currently to those higher up in the Church of Lux. They are not allowing
What if we hadn't?
anyone in and out.
What if we hadn't come to Marigold? We only really came because we heard there was a tournament. Were you
That
going
is-
to just keep watching?
No. When we started journeying here, I decided that would be a time to wait. I was hoping that it might be less. Clarb is incapable of conversation, though quite capable in pranks. I've held him off with this mischievous until just last night, of course, but I didn't know how to really reveal his position within you. If he had unveiled himself, and I was not there, perhaps he would have been harmed, but I also doubted that. But at the same time, if I sent a letter to you and it was intercepted, at least here in the city, my friend Killian could watch over the couriers and make sure that nothing was read, and I have some resemblance of control, but if you journeyed elsewhere, I would have sent him to convey this message better than I probably can. I was just hoping that face-to-face might be a little bit more personal.
Is Clarb is like on him?
No, he's at the other end of the table, closer to all of you, I guess. Kind of just sat on the edge of the table there. He's just essentially just a blob of purple-orange.
Tack will look at Clarb and go, Clarb, right?
It kind of...
I think the least you can do is put my actual bag back together. I'm not picking all that up. Points at the ground.
The eye goes, looks down. And you just see him fall off the table and then move along and almost roll it up together and start kind of pulling it back together. You can see your actual pack didn't exist. That was abandoned. So he pulls it all together, and then you see the Dampier look down and go. He wanders off to find like an equivalent pack to put it in, and then hands it to him, and he starts just placing it. You can see like his little pseudopods kind of lifting it one by one, just putting it in there, watching you kind of shyly as he does it.
Jack will literally, like, painstakingly watch him do every single bit of it.
As he's putting it back, Sestina's gonna blob over and sort of like a puppy, just be like,
You can see
right,
like
just kind of like watching and like,
you see it kind of molds another eye inside itself and kind of watches both Tack at the same time and Sestina, and kind of like the other eye being kind of curious watching her. I recognize I have been at an advantage over you, and I recognize that I perhaps know too much. Well, not even that perhaps is needed there. I definitely have learned far more than I was allowed to listen in on. I believe that this vault within this city holds more answers. However, it is filled with their clerics, with their followers, with the tightest lips of all of them. They have motive in it, they are learning from it. They do not wish it to be public. And in the meanwhile, I've learned of small occurrences which I believe to be bigger, happening in different locations. In the land of light, there seems to be a rise of Prelux leaders, all desiring power. In the Ruby Stretch, there is talks of a great insectoid army building. Swarms that would cause a great pestilence. See where I'm going with this? I believe heralds are being called in the land of light on the eastern portions of it. Rituals of blood are being performed. Creatures of nightmare coming from Verland. Wars and outbreak happening in the major portions of our capital and around. Though I believe Shadow to remain quiet. Well, I believe currently right now, the Children of the Three are working to build more heralds. Each of them working for their own interests. Building up to this apocalypse, coming in the following blessing. And each of them vying for power. And if these heralds are allowed to bring in their master's will, we are all doomed.
Morgan. Sorry, no,
Cworth,
go for
will
it.
you give us a moment to talk amongst ourselves?
without Clarb or
Of course.
you or anyone.
He kind of opens up the kind of the jacket he's wearing, which kind of loosens a bit.
We've all been there.
The food will get cold. So I imagine you do not have much of an appetite. He kind of stands and he wanders out the room and goes, "Provide them their wishes, Club, with me." He sees him. You see him follow him out the room, and the Damper kind of nods his head and wanders out as well. Closes off the two doors that have connection to this room.
Regardless of the dubious way that we were introduced to this man, I think that we do need to take into account that one. Prior to this, we have kind of been wandering around without much of a means to get anywhere past, oh, there's a vault here, there's a thing over here. Second to that, if we're going to make any kind of significant change or impact here, having a connection like him would be a step in the right direction towards that.
I'm torn between total outrage and also admiration because it was a really smart thing. And I wish I'd had the ability to plant someone many times in my life.
Curious what he would have done if our motivations did not align, as he says.
Club smothering us in our sleep, or
Perhaps. Also, it appears he does not know about Shadow, and our visit, and our conversation.
We did discuss it, though, at least in small ways.
We did, and it's really Club with your pack, right? But what if you put your pack in another room, right? Club could have been
That's true.
A glass on the tape, right? So we really don't. We just.
He said
it does put us on the back foot.
He said this thing is incapable of standard communication, but that it bonds with someone. I don't know how much that implies about... I don't know. I'm annoyed with how much this thing knows and not having any confirmation one way or the other about whether or not it on its own has its own motivations to utilize that information, or if it is also using this guy, or I don't know.
No, I agree. I do think one thing that is good, I have sent several messages to people to try to do some research, right, on the skinless one, on the vault, on the whatever, and someone else doing research is not a bad thing. However, I mean, there's no however there. It's not a bad thing. I did not have as much disclosed as you did, Jack, right? So I think there's a difference there. And I
will attempt to do what is clearly good for the group. And if everyone agrees that utilizing extra information and I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to put assurances in place that this isn't going to bite me in the ass.
Well, it's also important that we keep in mind we do not need to continue to bring Club around with us.
Sure.
We can maintain contact, get information from Cworth without bringing around a factor that we don't necessarily trust the motivations of.
Morgaine, Desmond.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
I am being asked to forsake my orders again because that creature, I was told, was supposed to die. So we need to decide if this man is an ally and will keep his secrets or not.
Do you
I agree with that? We do have to find out this guy's story. He knows so much about us, but we still have so much to figure out about him.
Morgaine, do you know more about this thing than what was told to us just now, or
It was in the Dreadvault. It's on the list.
Which they did admit.
I mean, I
You're
suppose.
imprisoned for being a spy,
So,
which
that makes sense, right?
checks out.
I suppose so was Moot Mog, though, and he was a bumbling idiot, but
Mootmog objectively should have. We probably should have done more about
I
it.
know.
huh?
Actually, well, we'll find out, right? Maybe we'll hear rumors of
I hope not.
what if. Okay, let's put that out of our heads for now. I don't know what kind of assurances Lord Cogworth can give us that one, Clark will not try to follow us. I don't know what kind of assurances we can put in place, a sort of club check, as you will.
Is there some kind of spell we can use to
I'll have to
locate a
think about
creature
it. Right.
of some kind? Now that we know specifically
There
who
you
we're
go.
dealing with.
True.
I don't have something in my book right now, but I'm sure Vendible will have something to help us that I can add. But Cogworth is just going to stay here, I assume, right? And whilst we travel around, it would be nice to have someone to watch him. Maybe I can. Might
we
be able
have
to ask
someone?
someone.
Thinks about people in the caravan. Who do we have someone?
No.
Caravan's kind of small still.
It's also not. We don't have like warriors really, or like people where if shit went down here, they would be able to do much about it.
You'd leave Ballbiter.
That ball biter.
Ball biter.
And Dross are just trying to get rid of him.
Guys, wait a
Except
second.
Ballbiter.
There's no way we're getting rid of ball biter.
We don't need to get rid of ball biter, but
No, he's got a higher mission though.
Yeah, because he's the subtle one.
Right. You're just following him from room to room, stomping around. What you doing now? Just yelling.
I'm watching him and he doesn't know I'm here.
Actually, it can't be Ballbiter because then I'd have to send a message to him to find out what he knows, and I don't want to do that.
Right now, whether or not we're happy with the dynamic Cogworth has with us, they have been so apologetic and in such a position of remorse that we have just as equally so a position to ask quite a bit more than normally we would be able to in the situation of a equal partnership.
True.
Also, I'm going to be quite frank. Our choices are to side with him because he knows far too much, or to kill a noble, which brings with itself its own plethora of issues. So we don't have much choice.
not just kill a noble, but kill a philanthropic noble.
Yeah.
Well, we could always kill him later, right? If it doesn't work out. It's time to think of some sort of accident or something. That's Carlisle, don't you know, like, you have, like, poisons or something?
I'm
you know,
not
that-
intending on poisoning anyone.
Well, you wouldn't have to do it. We'd have someone else do it.
If I hand poison to someone and then they say to me, here I go, I'm going to go poison someone with this, it sounds like I poisoned them.
What if they didn't say anything to you? That's plausible deniability.
If
though.
I hand out poison to people, I assume
They
what
stole
poison
the
does.
poison. What if you just made poison and it was missing one day? Looks at Sestina.
I don't want to get into this anymore.
Fine. So what? We call him back in, and what do we say?
We're very cross. We want to know everything he knows. Also, any sort of help he can give us in the city, financially or otherwise. Give him a list of things he can do for us.
We expect unconditional aid in pursuing our mutual task that we,
Absolutely.
according to him, share.
I think a
Um,
big part of that is making sure that he is not exclusively our middleman to get information, that we ask to be privy to some of his contacts. Because that in itself
Well,
gives
that
us
would
a
be
little
the
bit of leverage
trust.
against him.
I think
Right.
ensuring his involvement ensures his continued cooperation.
I'm not saying
feels
that
like
he
he's
shouldn't
being
be involved at all. I'm saying that
gives
even one person would give us information about him and about who he knows
Right, it's not
that
on the
he wouldn't
level.
want us to share.
It's not on the level of what he would know about you, for instance, but it would be a start.
What?
What were you going to say, V? Sorry.
It is okay. I am challenged by the idea that we are aligned with him with the most certainty. What if there comes a time when exploring these vaults where our ideas of what is right may shift? We learn something. Who do we know what to trust,
Well,
what to fight for?
if we have that concern about something like him, it's just as fair to say that all of us could have a situation individually of, well, I don't align with the rest of this party. And
I disagree
There's
with
only
many of the
so-
things you all say.
what I'm saying is looking too far into the future of what if this happens or that happens is going to end up paralyzing us, making almost any decision.
I see.
So the more help, the better, but the wrong help can sink us.
Very well said.
It's good to be careful. It's good to get some leverage. We're here, and they're clearly remorseful for how things played out. But currently, right now, we are a band of wagons on a road. So we could
Yes,
probably
we are.
use some help.
Fine. We'll call him back in.
Okay. To call him back in, you'd have to go out of the room. You would see that they respected your privacy as far as you can you're aware. They're in the lounge area, kind of a couple doors down. The Dampiers kind of stood there by kind of the fireplace, holding a glass. Clarb is on the armchair, and you can see Cogworth is kind of like bringing his hands together, just kind of like sitting back and forth, kind of a little nervously, awaiting. Kind of as soon as he stands up, okay. He comes back, following through. Club kind of coming in behind him as well, moving almost like a slinky. Club waits at the door. And he walks around and he sits himself back down. Okay. I just want to face that whatever decision you come to, I do not mind. Unless, of course, it is one that is violent, in which case I would happily beg for my life.
I think we've made it quite clear how upset this has made us, how frustrating the situation is for us. But we are in agreement that whatever is going on with these vaults is important, and that it would be foolish of us to deny ourselves help and information.
Good.
But we need clear communication. We need to know everything that you know.
Yes. And if it would serve you, I would... Of course, if you wish. I understand the deception is there. if you wish for Club to come accompany you, but
No. Absolutely not.
We will handle communication a different way going forward.
I meant as a bond to one of you, not to me.
Oh, to monitor him? That's what he's saying?
If you wished for a
No,
spy to be
so-
used on your own.
Oh.
So we
Gotcha.
can use Clarb like
we can
Yeah,
use
yeah.
I would like Indrasa's got a piece of paper out and she's writing down and she's sort of making a list of all of the concessions that they want. And everything that she can think of that they'll want to know. I definitely want to come back to, and she kind of taps one of the higher items on the list. At some point, what club? Sorry, not club, because you said he didn't see anything. What you saw, the castle, the room that you saw when we lost a few days as we were transported out of Crown Heart.
Yes, the way that the Rumour Club's mind works is that he sends imagery. It's what he's thinking about, how he pictures things. You have to get used to it. It is not as clear cut as we see things. It is the eyes of a mimic. It is almost like seeing everything alive around you. This almost possibility. It was a room of sorts. The reason I say castle is because it was stonework, an interior of it. There was a candle on, but I assume a candle. Could have been a lantern. It was just a source of light. But there was nothing else there. It was you appeared there, and then it was almost like moments later, gone.
Did you see us? Were we standing? Were we sleeping? Were we?
It
You
was
just saw the room.
standing. All of you. It was hard to position because I'm watching from someone's back. But I saw the glimpses of you, some of your arms and legs, and
Were we moving? Did we look awake, aware?
happened too quickly.
Mm.
It was just curious because I was worried that perhaps after the teleportation, maybe it had revealed his form, and by the Sun Children forbid that done something to him. And so I presumed him to be potentially gone. And then I got an image from him recounting the field, and all of you waking up, and the way you communicate back is through imagery. I tried to picture him, to tell him what happened. Where were you? And he says, I've just arrived. It was confusing. I don't know what happened during those few days, but nor did he. All I know is that you did not appear in that field to begin with.
Right. I think for starters, one thing we should decide, right, is are we going to, while we are in the city, are we going to stay here? Are we going to stay elsewhere? Are we going to make it known that we are acquaintances of yours? Or is it best to...
It is best to stay elsewhere.
Not.
This breakfast is a small gathering, something that wouldn't draw attention, but if people keep coming in and out every day, it might be too obvious. Though there is a sewage system nearby, I mean, I could have if you are desperate to rest here, I could have my interior sewage torn up so you can use the sewage.
We'll go to inns.
Walk
Thank
through the
you.
sewer.
Yes, I didn't imagine that you would wish for that. But it is probably best that our communication is less.
Right. What kind of research are you doing? Where do you do it? What kind of network do you have? How can we get communication back and forth?
I spend a lot of coin on a few whispered ears. I pay into... criminal networks have less of a curiosity to why I'm demanding information about other nobles. And I frame it in a means of being a curious... perhaps paranoid noble more so than anything else. So I don't have many contacts. I have one which I believe Sir Morgaine would again have to be tested on her wish to fulfill her duty. But one OTAB is one of my more reliable ones. He is in the Bay of Progress currently, though. In the Warm Steppes. In the city itself, I have a couple of smaller contacts which are... I frame in a means of me eavesdropping on nobles and wait for any information. Most of the information I get back is needless gossip. It is a servant under one of the houses in the Mirror District. I just tell them to give me anything they hear, gossip and anything they overhear, and I hope for any knowledge that might come through about the church. And another contact I have is embedded into the church itself. Someone who has been close to the doors. Seen them open, seen people come in. But not in. No. That is something I wish to pursue. My plan that Clarb went against, and he wished to go for his plan of infiltrating the Dreadvault, was to have him go inside there, get him as deep as I could, and learn whatever they are learning.
The vault opened 8 blessings ago, you said?
8 blessings. And since then, the presence of the Luxian religion has only grown in the city. It was once minor. And now they have their hooks into the deepest parts of our politics here. I believe House Ulker is entirely influenced by them.
Mm-hmm.
If I share contacts with you, I must implore that you do not tell them what we are looking into.
Certainly no plan on that, so...
Good. I have not told them anything. I try and make my information that I gather so general that most of my money is spent uselessly. Gossip and information that doesn't matter to anything.
Smart.
Hoping that I can just draw small details. That stuff that they might slip in, as simple as... slight bits of corruption or gloating that might not mean anything to the common ear, but to us that are listening out for it is important. But I'll be honest, over the last while, and prior to 8 blessings ago, I was beginning to lose faith in investigating. It was like things were growing dry, and I couldn't find much. Until you. You don't need me. And you know that.
Indeed.
But I do need you.
So, you can provide us with information.
Yes.
That you've learned. I presume that we can set you on things we may like to find out as well. Have you asked around? What else can you do for us?
I am not rich by any means, but I am wealthier than I imagine the majority of you. I understand that you are traveling together with a caravan of sorts. I can try and help fund that, if that helps. Push pay for workforce to come and help carry things there. Perhaps horses and carriages and the means to keep that thing on the move. Otherwise, I could give you a direct payment myself, if that would aid you in just spending your gold in the means of whatever you can around the city.
Assisting the people that we're traveling with would be a boon.
Yeah,
Certainly.
General aid on that side of things is gonna work a lot better in the long run.
My funds are smaller than they used to be. I don't exactly... You're not necessarily paid for being nobility, and any money I've earned over the years has started to whittle down, but I could sell this place and put the coin towards your endeavors.
I think that would look.
Can I
Perhaps
insight check to see if that's like really like he's that
Yeah.
hard
Like
into this?
committed.
Like, I would have advantage on this, so that's a 30 on the first one. Yeah, 30.
God damn.
I'll give you his direct intentions. You can kind of read it off his face. This is not necessarily someone who necessarily cares. I mean, he cares about the result, but this is someone who his entire passion or his entire life is an obsession around getting the answers to the questions that he had all those years ago. And so it's more of a, he would drop it all just to have that case solved kind of scenario. So it's a desperacy of that kind of means. There's empathy in there, but it's this obsession you can see.
Given that the vault here is open, they are freely going in and out, although keeping it secret, studying, and have been for 8 blessing. What would you suggest is the best way to get in?
Fighting your way in is going to be a very stupid thing. Of course, I imagine you would realize that. And these vaults, I imagine, from what you saw, don't have the ability to mine into them or break into them from another means. Which means my course of action would be infiltration of sorts. If you can find someone trustworthy to go through it for you, plant a spy in there, or even get one of yourselves to go through there and manage to get all the way inside. Or perhaps, I mean, the reality is that the people going inside are not just remaining inside. They stay.
Sure, they're coming.
Exactly. If they have rooms, perhaps one of them is stupid enough to write it down. Or perhaps not even stupid enough. Records must be kept somewhere.
Follow-up question. 2 follow-up questions. 1, would your contact be able to find out where such records might be kept? And 2, do you know whose vault this is? Do they know?
Some suspicion. This is the home of beauty. If they just do correspond to the Sun Children's vaults that they built, then I would say this would be the Vault of Beauty. Especially as it was directly beneath the garden of the House of Ukra. Descendants of beauty. Though what was kept inside, I'm not sure.
What,
Destroy.
was the entrance hidden? It was right in their garden, in their basement, in their...
Beneath the gardens, deep beneath the gardens. I'm not too sure how they opened it, but there seems to be a means of going through some sort of tunnel that goes deep underground. I have no idea how they discovered it, and my contact probably does not know who the records are kept by, but they might be able to work it out. They are simple. A zealot who has lost their way. Who does not trust their god as much as they used to. Who fears something is being kept from them. And who quite likes money. And I'll be quite honest with you, Most of my confidant here, Killian's time, is spent making sure that person does not talk. Though I do not wish to be bloody with things. If the need arises, Killian will take care of them. He can also put you in contact with them.
I think that would be a good first step.
That can be done. You will not believe me in saying this, and perhaps you will. But I mostly say it for myself. My deception ends here. I recognize that I had taken advantage of the secrecy. And I'll be honest, I would do most of it again with the knowledge I had before. For the first time in decades, I feel that there are others who can get far more answers than I can. And all that I hope is that I am there to see the result of whatever you find.
Which part would you have done differently?
Perhaps I would have told you sooner. Though Killian is not as good with words as I am. Not to say I am very good in at all. And of course I will pay for your stays at whichever of the inns you wish to have here.
One with a window in the room, perhaps.
Yes. I sits back. He leans across and he takes one of the apples and just kind of, like, pops it into his mouth, kind of crunches in a hole, pulling out the stem. I go hungry when I'm no nervous. You do not have to stay for the breakfast.
Well, food is here and I have not had breakfast, so I am going to eat some.
As she's been writing, Andrasa
Personally.
definitely grabbed a pastry and was eating that.
You can see, like,
Above board, we probably should talk about the Clarb thing.
Clarb thing.
Because my logic now is also, if one of us does bind with them and therefore has a connection there, then we also know where Clarb is, and that's a good. I think that's a net gain over
Right.
just leaving them blindly somewhere.
If we do want to try to infiltrate to get in, Tack can obviously look like someone, right? And if we send Clarb as an item on Tack, whoever is bonded to Clarb will know what's going on, right? It's like a sneaky way of having another set of eyes there as well.
If
Yeah,
Tack is
definitely think as a
comfortable with that.
party-
Yeah.
as a party, we
After
should-
what
Yeah,
just
right.
happened.
Yeah, I mean that as well, right? But just above board as like a, if we are interested in that kind of idea.
I do think that this was said in text, but I do think you're also correct that if someone's going to take it, it should be somebody who's rejected the darkness, right?
Yeah.
Which is just Carlisle and Desmond, correct?
I believe so, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, and of
The cowboy.
of the people
Yeah.
that can infiltrate of Carlisle. And
Yeah.
Desmond,
Yeah.
Huh? What do you mean?
very
Go
close.
on. What do you mean?
Desmond's a quiet boy.
Yeah. Clink, clink,
Clanks
clink.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, would in character would Carlisle be like, yeah, I'll bond myself to this weird criminal eyeball? That's the question.
I think that as far as things that Carlisle would see or be concerned to keep secret that he has said, there's not really that much there that he's too concerned about.
Mm.
That's fair too, right? Because like Indrasa would never even offer. Right? Like
Yeah. I think there's at least if it were Carlisle, there's a position of him being like, well, of the people in this group that would be willing to do it and can do it, he is singularly getting narrowed down to that position. He would do that for the furthering of our goal.
Cool. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, while we don't exactly have a plan here yet, for now, while we're sorting something out, I'm willing to have Clar belong with me.
Okay. You see Clarb kind of is like stretching one pseudopod towards the food and like pulling out like little pieces that are kind of almost going down like a straw into the gut of him. And the eye just like kind of reaches up and like stares at you. Bonding with him is fairly easy. I've communicated via imagery. It's a difficult thing to manifest. I often I'll show you how I do it, but perhaps you'll have another means of doing so. Perhaps you'll have better. I'm not the type who can picture an apple in my mind.
In there, bro.
Oh, buddy. Ouch.
Fucking
Can't relate.
targeted attack.
That felt like now Joe's your biggest hater
Yeah.
in this moment.
He stands, walks to one of the side rooms, and he pulls in with him like a board on wheels. He kind of pulls it along, and he's got like little letters that he kind of places up there, and he kind of places up together. It's almost like his board that sticks. Almost like a child would have, but it's kind of almost made of wood and this kind of sheen. Usually I make the sentences I wish to send to him here and convey it that way, so that he might read those, but it is up to you however you wish to do so. But if you wish to bond with him, then I suppose that is up to him. You see the food digesting real time inside of him, just burning away. And he kind of slithers up near you, reaches up a pseudopod. And you can see it kind of opens to have like almost the shape of like your face in a bowl. It is...
And this is how it is done.
He's just.
If there is
fucking with
another
you right now.
means,
Yeah.
then I am not aware of it.
Carl looks at the rest of the party to see
Barb's-
if anyone's gonna be like, no, don't.
This isn't you. Don't
Wait.
do it.
Pack is just leaned back in the chair looking disgusted, but doesn't say anything.
This feels like
Morgana's
Carb has
like,
told people
Pastry
like
in
this
mouth
is part of
reaching
it.
for another pastry.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Carlisle. His face
Almost
in
like-
the pseudopod.
Molds against yours, and then in this moment you can feel this connection open up, and there's a strange feeling of you can see the image of what it looks like from his perspective looking up at you, and then he pulls away, and you now have the ability in your mind to send almost images of how you see things to Club, and vice versa. The connection is made between you if you allow it. You can resist this. It's a wisdom-based saving throw if you wish to resist it.
Then it was a good call. Carlisle took it.
And The same goes for you can willingly send things to him via your mind, and it's kind of a conscious thing that you do. If there is a time where he tries to pry into your head, it would be a saving throw as well, if that comes up.
Okay, so I would know by me having to make
yes.
a roll that he is attempting to do it without my consent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
'Cause I
kind of
think
this consensual imagery back and forth.
Passively, currently, right now, Carlisle's intention would be keep this connection closed unless necessary to use.
Yep.
Will be how I'm going forward.
Yeah. And you can see it's almost just like having this almost like corner of your mind, which you can see the images, almost like photos in the corner of a screen where you can see kind of what he's picturing. It's almost like the reaches your imagination pulling them together. At first, it feels like you're thinking of them, and then you realize it must be coming from him. And it's just kind of images of the room, and then he stops and slows down, kind of locking it off as well. But yeah, now you have a mimic connection.
A fucking Neuralink chip put in my
Yeah,
phone. Right?
We all just stare at
Amazing.
you to see if you're okay now. Lord Cogworth, do you have the ability to...
Please, herbaceous.
Herbaceous. Do you have the ability to cast something like sending, or do you have someone who can you... Or,
Oh, I have no means of magic myself.
What if you need to get a message to us? How are you going to do that? Send a courier?
Hopefully not.
Well, could you send something to Clarb? Knows how to write the letter Z. I know that for certain.
Well, my connection with him is broken now.
It's sort of an S.
Okay, so it's just one connection.
One
That's
person.
like a confirmed
Yeah.
thing. Because I wasn't sure if this was like a fucking group DM room
Yeah.
with me and Cogworth now.
Like the soul thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have no real means of contact.
That would be insanely powerful. We
That
would
would be.
we should all bond with Cloyd.
Yeah, exactly. Mind meld. Let's go.
I will-
Interlinked.
That's what I mean. I can do that, but of course that counts on me to start the conversation, and so I wouldn't really know if you needed to tell us something.
Perhaps
unless
what I should do
checked in.
is invest into finding a mage of sorts who is trustworthy with information. Or perhaps have an item of some sort commissioned that could do this.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, you have some time to sort that out. We're not leaving the city for a little while.
Yes. Yes. In the meanwhile, I suppose our contact together should be likely minimal, because otherwise people might arouse interest. Though,
Yes.
no, we should keep our contact minimal. He kind of looks towards Morgaine. It's already enough that a Dreadvault Warden has wandered into here. Perhaps they think I'm up to it.
Invited.
Invited, yes, but what means does Lord Cockworth have with a Vault Warden such as yourself? If anyone's to ask, perhaps you were looking into a matter and you thought I might know something. That way at least it would give people a little bit of a spook to come near me.
Sure.
Killian, in the meanwhile, he kind of stands in the corner. You can see he's poured himself a glass of a red substance. You would know it to be blood. And he's kind of sipping on it lightly. He goes, I can, of course, be the in-between between the words of Lord Cogworth and yourselves.
All right.
Anything that should be said to me can also be said to my confidant Killian. He has been my friend and aid for longer than this has gone on. Take as much food with you if you wish.
Is there coffee above board?
I think because you probably asked about it earlier that day, there is definitely like coffee brought in.
That's awesome.
I was
That's
literally
really
going to
funny.
say, when that happened, I was like, you're probably
Amazing.
gonna
Yeah.
see it here.
Absolutely.
They're scrambling
Amazing.
like we have to get
yeah.
coffee.
You probably see this.
Exactly.
Is there?
You probably spend too
I like
much
to
for it
think
too.
there's like
Yeah.
citrus flavored water there for me.
Yes.
Like, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my God,
Little
how-
bit for everyone.
I love how like creepy that would be after knowing like
Yeah,
if
right.
all of the food
Things.
there is food that we specifically have really enjoyed.
Do you know,
during
it'd
the
probably
time.
be the coffee would probably be there, but because he probably wouldn't have a long time to think. I imagine he spent a long time thinking whether it would be creepy or not. So all he's done instead is provided water and then citrus fruits for you in case you want to make your own. You know,
Right
like,
next to
just-
us.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, right next to it. Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
overthought this.
That's amazing.
Apologies, this was not just a simpler meeting. And I don't. Kilius Saladin was a very dangerous individual. And took the muster of a lot of powerful folks to even detain. If there are heralds of the others, and this close to whatever is happening, be cautious.
Mm.
By the end of this, perhaps we can prevent anything from happening.
All right, well, we will stay in contact.
Yes. You contact me this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in, I'm at your favor from now.
And Drassa will hand him a piece of paper. She has two. And say, well, this is your homework. And it's just a list of topics that she would like him to
Amazing.
research or know everything that he knows about. Because she now just fully is like, oh, all right, this guy likes a mystery. He's done a lot of research. She's going to just assume that he's done his due diligence on all of these things.
Yes,
You
yes.
are my dictionary.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get on this.
I would expect to, yes, see your notes about each of these, right? So
Right.
that we can, yes, all
Right.
be on the same page. Thank you.
He kind of starts looking through it. I'll read it over later. All right. Well, I thank you for joining me for breakfast.
Mm.
As everyone heads out, I would linger behind. And step closer to him and try to make myself intimidating but not threatening.
The
I would
Jampier
say.
is following right behind.
Yeah. I am hesitant to believe that someone's motivations could be fueled by sheer curiosity for this long. I dare to ask you, who do you serve? What do you serve?
One intimidation check with strength.
Mhm.
Let's go,
Because you're kind of
baby.
overpowering him.
You say with strength?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that just how do I do that again? Just a
Do
strength
you
roll
have,
and then
do you
add
have proficiency in intimidation?
my. I do.
So roll.
It's a +3.
Just roll strength and then add a 3.
Then add 3. So 19.
In all honesty, I suppose I serve my own self. The idea that, I don't know, that I can be part of something greater. And that self-validation goes a long way. Right now, I've been given all of this land, this property. And as much as my name has been lost into history now, I don't believe I ever deserved it all, because I didn't finish working out the core of it. It is the mystery of what these children want, these old gods want. And if that helps people along the way, then it is also grand.
Does it seem like he's just being from the heart, truthful?
I think you were intimidating enough that he was kind of like,
He's nothing to.
yeah, he's kind of thrown it onto the table.
Okay.
I can show you to the door, if you'd like.
I know where the door is. Just gonna push past him.
Do you all leave?
Put shoes back
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Puts grippers away.
Question for you, Carla. Are you bringing Clive with you or leaving him here until you need him?
I think Carlisle would, because he knows he's the connection now, I think he would take him with him.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be like in his bag. I think Carlisle, because Clark can like turn into things.
Yeah. He has a...
He mimic.
Can't turn into everything because he's he can only squash him down so much. So he can turn into kind of smallish objects. Would you make a
Another
request or would
hat?
you allow him? You could turn into a long
You
kind
could
of
turn
blanket
into
and
something
shawl.
like this or this, and Carlisle point to like a potion, a vial, and then a blood bag, something like that. One of those two.
He'd probably choose the blood bag and go kind of morph into that.
Ugh.
And you'd see the kind of his eye bobbing around on the inside, and then it goes translucent and fades, and he just looks like the blood bag.
In the spot where you would write like the blood type, it just says Clarb.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl will put that
It's a
in,
larger
like, an
one than
interior
usual,
pocket
but yeah. Okay.
in his coat.
That is wrong.
Which would bring you back out onto the streets. And with that conversation, where would you guys be planning to go next? We'll be finishing up shortly because we're at the 3 hour mark.
Oh.
We are right by the shop that we need to go to, right?
Oh yeah. Which
What's-
one's that
it's
again?
Which one?
Elixir's shop, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
I think
We are
that was
by
it.
Yeah.
So probably, yeah. So probably, it would make sense to go there, and then wherever else we would need to go, like in that area, whatever other shops we need to visit
Yeah, I think
and
there's like
stuff, right?
general shopping we want to do.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's try to get my armor class up a little bit more. I don't think it's possible. I have no idea.
What are you right now?
I'm at 15 with my scale mail, so
You're a barbarian. That's where you're gonna
I
stay.
know.
unless you get
Yeah.
dexterity.
no, it's fine. I can handle it.
Yeah, you'd be able to wander back into the town. If your first destination is the Mending Matters, we can do that before we finish up. You can pop in there down the main street, and you'd see his small kind of tucked away shop. It's one of the ones joined up. It's kind of a smaller, almost like corridor-like shop on the inside, and you can see the signpost itself, Mending Matters. You can see has a glowing wrench symbol that actually glows on it's almost like neon. It glows on the swinging signpost outside, and on the inside is a series of small kind of gadgets and tools of tinkerers, and a couple of like tables laid out as well where people can kind of work on crafting things. But behind the desk, sat there, just kind of trying to fix this cog, with a large glowing wrench in his hands that kind of a bit too big for him as well, is a chameleon. They're chameleon people. He's kind of got this almost very like large eyes that are staring down towards it. This kind of greenish bluish skin that kind of comes across scales. He's wearing pretty simple clothing that kind of covers him up. It kind of leaves his sleeves of his arms free. And he's kind of you can see he's like biting down on his tongue slightly, which is a little bit out of his mouth as he's focusing on fixing this kind of cog in front of him. He's kind of pulling it together, tightening it up. It's like a valve. And he kind of sees all of you come in and goes, "Hello there, Tho. Welcome in."
Hello, dear.
How's it going?
Looks around shop. Good. How's it going with you?
Well, terrible today.
Indrasa doesn't really know what to say because people usually just say fine. Oh. What a shame.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Welcome to Mending Matters. I'm Jillick, the glowing wrench. If you'd like to look around the store, or if you have any particular things you want made, I do fix magical items. But I assume you haven't come in over that. He puts his wrench down in front of him.
Just sort of looks at the rest of the group.
Why is today bad?
I left all my windows open upstairs, so the rain got in. Soaked my bed.
Oh, buddy.
That does sound bad.
Yes.
He said his bed is soaked.
Yeah, because he left his windows open and the rain came in.
Oh, we could fix that.
Oh.
Oh, how much is that going to cost me?
Oh.
Well, we came in here because we're potential customers, so.
Oh, fantastic.
Looks at the others. I didn't come in here to get anything.
Right. Some sort of discount, maybe, or.
Sure thing.
Yes. What?
How much does it cost usually to fix a wet bed?
Well, it's.
A table of transmutation.
I think it is fair, right? I think it's likely free if you just wait a few days, but you'll be sleeping in a damp bed in the meantime, right?
Okay.
But we can fix that up for you now.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. I only have the one bed, though. I don't really want to avoid it for a few days, but yeah, that'd be fantastic. So we could just do equal trade. Do you want to do the bed first or this trade first?
How much is platinum worth? About what is it? 10 gold a piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 100 copper to 1 silver, 10 silver to 1 gold, 10 gold to 1 platinum.
And this guy does all kinds of armor?
Not armor, gadgets. He's a tinkerer.
Gadgets.
This is the one Vanderbilt wanted us
fixes
to go
magical items.
get the favor from. And he's incapable of lying, but good at reading lies, I wrote down.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. What about what a 10% discount will fix your bed right up?
Sure, that makes sense for me. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Just for one transaction, yes? Not 10% for the rest of your life. Unless is that the norm?
How about 10% today?
Is that the norm?
10%? Okay, how about this? 10% whilst it's still wet.
Well, then we'll do. Okay, sure. 10% while it's still wet. That sounds fantastic. So
we should make our purchases first before we clean
What do
it.
you have exactly?
Well, I've got all sorts of gadgets around that I've made. But I've also got. I can repair. Do you have any magical items that are broken?
I don't think so, do we?
Mine are fine.
Oh,
Magical items break? Hold on.
This guy can't lie. He can't lie. So he's not trying to pull one over necessarily.
I want to ask him questions about Vanderbilt.
See? Like, what kind of items do you get in that you have to repair?
Oh, the repair side's not a very successful business, you see. Because most of the time, magic items don't break.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There you go.
On occasion, I've done about since I started doing this. 3.
Oh, how long have you been doing this?
All my life.
Oh, all right. What do you have for sale?
All sorts of little gadgets that I've
made?
made. I've mostly just made small little things that do, useful things. Like I've got a little package that it can unravel. You can keep all your rations inside it, so it can fit up to 100 rations. But it's only the size of your fist. That's quite wonderful.
Quite good.
I've got all sorts of little things. It depends what you're looking for, and I can build them too. I mostly do commissions.
Do you have something that could send messages back and forth?
No. Well, yes. Technically, yes. But what kind of range?
Quite far.
Oh, no.
Like the spell. No.
I've got like a little
But
ball
would
that
you
you
make
can
something-
write a
Is that
message on
something
and
we
throw
could-
it.
Is that something we could commission? Would you be able to conceptualize how to make that?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
How much would that
Not
cost me,
that we
though?
need it.
This is your business. Why are you asking us these questions?
How much would it cost you to make it? Is that what you're asking? How much
Weird.
would it cost?
Could you give me some more details on this?
It needs to be something that can be carried easily. We would need 2 of them so that a message could be sent back and forth.
Okay.
And it needs to be long distance. So preferably something that could fit in a pocket.
Okay. How much do you reckon that would cost?
Not much. at
How
all.
much do you think that would cost?
His eyes gonna go like wide.
His brain's gonna break.
100?
Gold.
1,000.
What if, instead of getting a general 10% discount, what if you make that in exchange for the wet bed?
Okay, then yes. That
And
makes me feel a lot
then,
more comfortable.
we just don't worry about
Yeah, okay, that makes me feel
a
comfortable.
10% discount.
Yeah, that works for me.
It's easier.
Let's do that. Okay, transaction, yeah, done. Gonna reaches his hand out.
Fantastic.
How does this guy's business work?
I
Like,
know.
Shakes
poor
hand.
guy.
Bless him. How long would that take
Oh, yeah.
to make those?
How long distance again? Beyond string.
Definitely beyond
3.
string, like this spell, dear.
Give me a few days. I'll get it done in a few
Like
days.
across the plane.
Yeah, I'll get it done in a few days, probably. I mean, it might need some like
Maybe.
alpha testing first. Make sure that it works, and then you can come back to me if it breaks, and I can fix it.
Oh my god, does he make faulty shits? I have to go back.
Yeah, can we look around? Does this look like
Oh my
Yeah, I want to examine like an item or 2.
I know,
Does this look like,
Yeah.
my grandpa was the sort of dude who had like buckets full of resistors because he
Yeah.
just liked to build shit.
Definitely
And,
the similar
like-
kind of thing where he's
Okay.
it's very passionate, and you can see some things probably do work. There's probably some little gadgets here. A lot of it's useless stuff, like the equivalent to slinkies. They're that kind of not real much use. Like he'd probably make better as a toy shop than anything else.
Aw,
But
buddy.
some of it definitely is like broken pieces that he just put on the side. And it looks like a lot of his stuff probably needs testing.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
Fantastic. Oh, thanks so much. If you want to go upstairs, by the way, the bed's upstairs. Whoever's going to
Sure,
do the
we can-
throwing.
Sure. Tech just goes upstairs.
You can see his stairs, almost like a hoarder's stairs, where he's just at points just sat down on a step and just started making something new and just drops it to the
Oh
side.
my
So you have
God.
to step around
Tech's
mechanically.
like trying to
Yeah,
dodge
yeah.
things on the way up.
And you'd find, his bed kind of tucked literally right under the window, like he likes to sit under the window. It's almost like hammock-like, and it's just drenched. And his window is like one of
Well,
those It's on a corner on an angle, so you could have just had it open, so it's practically just poured through.
Oh my god.
What's the situation with the rest of the room? Is this the only thing that's wet?
The carpet around it is wet, and the rug, but otherwise it's kind of just floorboards, and he's just kind of got different clothing, which is very. He has like the same outfit, but in about 6 different colors, just kind of like lined up on the thing. But otherwise,
Iconic.
very
Yeah, I
dull.
respect-
I've lived with this man. Okay. Yeah. Tack, feeling kind of bad about taking advantage of this dude. Anything that's wet in there, they'll make it dry with prestidigitation.
Okay. Yeah. You can draw it up and go. Once you like finish up, he kind of waits. It's all done.
Mm.
But I didn't even see you bring up a towel.
You can check it if you like.
Oh no. I could tell if you're lying.
You should check it. I'm begging you to start questioning people a little bit more.
No, I could tell you were being honest.
All right.
There is the other thing.
Mm.
Have I done something?
No. Do you know someone named Vanderval?
Oh, old friend of mine. Yeah, I love Van. How's he doing? He's all right.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Uh,
all right.
He's doing okay. He's been having a rough time, but we've become quite close with him.
He's the best.
He was asking after you actually. He was saying that the two of you have needed to have a conversation for a bit.
We're old buds, me and him. Old buds. He helped me out big time.
Oh, how long have you known him for?
Oh, all my life.
How
well-
old are you?
Oh, 16.
Oh.
How did you meet?
Well, I mean, so when I was younger, I fixed the lamp that he was serving, and then he came to me. He was trying to fulfill the wish, and he helped me out, and then became good friends. He taught me
Oh,
the most valuable bit of advice I've ever heard.
Oh.
He said, "You may not be able to lie, but you don't have to speak the truth."
oh.
That is
Lying via
clever.
omission.
Mm.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I owe him big time. So, friend of Van's,
For
old friend
that
of mine.
advice.
No. Because he did my wish. He made my wish come true.
And
Oh.
what was your wish?
That everyone likes me. In my clan.
In your... Everyone didn't...
No, they
Like
didn't like
you?
me. Well, see,
One.
I don't have a very welcoming persona to my people in the Camion clan that I'm from. So I don't know, they saw me a bit of an outcast. Now they think I'm great. So that's all thanks to Vanderval.
What are they like? What is their personality?
Well, it depends. I mean, everyone's different, isn't they?
Mm.
But-
You seem quite friendly. They're not friendly?
No, a lot of them are friendly, but like, I suppose they always just look down at me because of the profession, right? Because I found the guy in rent, so then, it's not it's a bad find.
Why is that?
Well, when we go into our pile for the first time and we're picking out the rest of our professions for the rest of our life, essentially, you're kind of hoping you have something that isn't going to be too niche. Hoping you pick up something that is going to be useful to the community. And it turns out that fixing magical items isn't very useful to your community.
Mm.
When you went into your piles, I mean,
They
what
don't
did you get?
often break.
I guess you got like a drying bed or something similar.
No, I don't.
I think that might be quite cultural.
Oh,
Right.
I never had to do anything like that.
oh right. Yeah, no, yeah. I climbed
Oh,
in
right.
and I found the strength. And he kind of taps it. So
And
it's my life pursuit.
they like you now, but you are here. Where are they?
Oh, I left them. I couldn't stand all of the fans. Yeah, no, it's kind of
They like
backfired.
too much.
Well, yeah, I mean,
God.
what had happened was, right,
Oh my god.
someone brought in a
Amazing.
lamp, right, and they said that it was a magical lamp because they couldn't fix it, and because they're a metal worker, so they could fix everything. They said this must be magical, and I thought to myself, there's no chance, right? So I fix it, and the moment I fix it, it sends that message, and then Vandervold gets in touch, and through his whole genie fellow that he serves, you get to ask for wishes, and so I asked, I want everyone in my clan to like me. And he ignored the wish. So Vandervold comes along and he says that he shouldn't have ignored the wish and he will find a way to make it work. So Vandervold went around to my entire clan, who were not very familiar with lying, and told them that I did lots of things that I didn't do. And then when they came
Oh
and
my
asked me
God.
about them, I didn't speak a lie, I just didn't speak the truth. I just stayed silent. And so everyone thinks I've done all these things that I haven't done.
Oh my.
And suddenly,
That-
Jelitza the Glowing Rex was the most popular man in the entire civilization.
Must have been a lot of pressure on you then.
It was enormous. All they would do is just talk to me all day long, asking about these different things. I had to stay silent, which they found exciting every time. It was mysterious, and but then it just grew intense. I
That does
wanted
sound
to tell the
terrible.
truth constantly. So I
You
had to
must
get
have
out of
seemed
there.
quite humble.
I think so, but drove me crazy, so I had to get out of there. And so I bought up the shop, I used some of the coin, because they'll give donations, and here I am.
So, this debt that you owe Vandervold, did he ever specify exactly what it is?
No, so I keep,
No.
helping him out wherever I can.
Oh my god.
Well, that works out then, I suppose.
Sure.
I mean, he's been traveling with us. He's right outside of the city. Would you like to? I mean, we could see if there's something that you could help him out with, and
Oh, all right, yeah, I could see him. Sure. I mean, he said, I've asked him a lot of times, like, do you need help with your magical items? And he said none of them are broken. But maybe I can ask again.
Makes sense.
Maybe he has an idea of a different way you could use your skill.
Well, I mean, the wrench only really fixes things.
But it's clear that you also build things.
That's hobby. I have to say it's a hobby. Okay, because otherwise it is. I have to keep my life's work as the wrench. I fix magical items. That's hobbyist stuff that happens to be sold on the side. That's all.
Oh,
see.
what work-life balance or something, or
I have to be very clear with that. We're very serious about that in my clan.
oh,
One focus.
About what is your calling and what isn't.
It's whatever we find in the pile.
what if you don't like what you find in the pile?
Well, that's it. Some people do take an exile if they really hate it.
They leave.
Yeah, you have to leave behind what you have, drop it to the ground, and you
Oh.
become your name, the professionalist. It's a very sad life, that. No direction.
But then couldn't you just pick something that you
No.
liked and do that? You can't do anything.
No, you
Or
just have no
ever.
direction in life. Oh, give
Well,
us purpose.
But I didn't ever. I feel like I've got a direction. I didn't go into a pile.
Nice. Sound
Pile.
pretty.
How big is the pile?
Oh, it depends from clan to clan. My pile's pretty big. About the size of a house.
How did these items end up in the pile?
Well, we just find things, throw it in the pile. Yeah, you're kind of expected to bring things back whenever you're out on your adventures and when you go out into the world. I've got a whole
Do you just
assortment of things
pick
I can
things
bring.
up?
Yeah, just pick up anything I find that just looks interesting, maybe.
But
Some
what if
things I
you
don't.
picked up trash and then someone picks that up as their profession? It's like
Yeah.
a bent spoon or something. What are you supposed to? Kind of profession do you make from that?
Well, it's interpreted to yourself. I interpreted this as fixing magical items because I didn't realise at the time I mean, I was only very small, so I didn't really realise that it wasn't a very sought after one.
Wait, how old are you when you pick from the pile?
3.
3.
Oh, that's when you
That
begin
seems
working.
about right to be making life choices, but again, clearly very cultural.
So then it's sort of your responsibility to pick good items to bring back to the pile, then, right?
Oh, sort of, yeah. I mean, you can have someone who's quite rude and just brings back whatever they can. And that's part of the risk of the pile, really, right? So I try to go things which are interesting enough for people to have a pretty exceptional life. Because I struggled at first, right? Although I say that, but if I saw this wrench, I think that's pretty interesting. So sometimes you have to think about what's useful. You know, sometimes it's better just to pick up a rake, throw that in the pile.
Is there a quota that you have to bring back?
No, but there's a respect amount, you know. If someone brings back a lot to the pile, then there's a lot of respect to be had there. I've never gone back to the pile in years.
Sure, because everyone loves
Yeah.
you and they'll just sort of swarm you.
I left when I was 9.
You're such a dick.
Right, okay. Do you want to... Would you like to come back with us and see Master Vandervool?
Yeah, as long as my bed's dry.
We checked it, right?
With that
It
one
is.
said it is, yeah.
Did you make sure
No,
the
I trust
window
him.
is thatched? Just in case it rains again.
Oh, no, I broke the latch from that window.
Why?
But
The windows are magic. You can't fix it.
surely you could fix that.
Yeah. I haven't got round to it yet, so.
Right. Would you like to fix the window
I think
latch
maybe-
before we take you to see Master Vandervool, just in case it rains again and then you come home and your bed is wet?
Sure. Well, I wouldn't like to,
I mean, you
but I
don't-
will do it if it means I have to go and see Vandervool afterwards, yeah.
I mean, you don't I'm not going to make you fix your window latch. It just seeed like it was a smart...
Oh, then no,
thing
I
to
can leave it
do.
then.
If you come back and it's wet, what is your plan?
Make another trade with you. Whatever you need, 10%. If you're around for a while, you
Fantastic.
can just keep
You know
trying it.
what? You speak a lot of sense. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, sure.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
So,
I like this 16-year-old we can exploit.
Yeah. He's been working at 3, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's been working a long time.
Exactly.
Also, I can't wait for Vandervool to be like, oh, you brought him back. I just wanted the thing.
Yeah, exactly. We're making this Vanderval's problem. Okay.
all right, so I just meet you there. Where am I going?
Oh, I don't know that I want him to get there first. I want to quite be
Oh.
there.
We should just go back together, right? If we're
Yes.
gonna go back.
I need to
Sure.
give this frog to Richard, anyways. So it is
I
good
forgot
if
that
we
you've
go
been
back.
carrying around a frog.
Yeah, it's just
It's like,
you know that brings you luck. I think it's all a lie.
You do.
Why do you think that?
Well, because I think it's just a coincidence that luck was happening at the time. Because the way people talk about it, they don't really know what really happened at the time. Just that there was an outbreak of frogs.
That's what I asked. How did the frogs even get here? What happened, right? No one knows.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because without the luck, it's just a plague, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Frogs have it in for
Mm.
Marigold.
So we go now?
All right.
Yes. Is there anything else that we need to do before we go?
Oh, I want to swing by the potion shop before we
Right.
All right.
get out of here.
Well, I forgot my thing, so how about you lot go and do whatever you got to do? I'll be waiting here. You can pick me up.
Great. Grabbing his things like this is like a fucking journey.
Adventure, right?
How much is this guy grabbing?
Who's got room in their bastion facilities?
Yeah, I guess we're
Would you
keeping
like
this guy,
to?
huh?
yeah.
He's moving in.
Sounds like we're keeping him.
I'm just throwing it out there. What if our magical items break while we're adventuring. It could
Exactly.
happen. He's fixed 3. We know that it is possible. Can't lie. He's fixed
He's
3
just
things.
good at figuring out
Yeah.
lies. I don't.
No, he tells the truth, and he can tell when we're
Yeah, he
lying.
Yeah, true.
He can't lie. So he's fixed 3 things that he
Well,
thinks
hang on.
were
He's
magical
been actively
items.
taught how to omit the
Lie
truth.
via
Yeah.
omission.
You can't just be
yeah.
like, he can't
No,
lie.
I know.
But he told
He hides
us.
the truth.
Yeah, he was conveying that
He
he was staying
plainly
silent.
said.
Like,
Yeah.
Him saying I fixed 3 things isn't necessarily
Doesn't
him
mean
saying
he's
fixed
lying.
3 magical items because he's
That's why I
admitting
said
if they're magical.
He thinks that he's fixed 3 magical items for sure, right? Because he's telling
No,
the truth.
not even.
There-
He didn't
there
say
kind- There's
magical.
kind of a sign of quality.
said, "I
in that
fixed 3
Vanderval
things."
is like, get this thing from this guy. If he was a hack fraud, we probably wouldn't be going to him for this,
True.
right?
We're just gonna run with this and see where it takes us, and it's gonna be glorious.
Yeah, either way, we're making it Vanderval's problem, so it's great.
Yes.
No
As we
problem.
should.
Which is always a net gain. Yeah.
As we always.
As we should.
All right, so I'll wait
Agreed.
here. I'll get my things. And yeah, see you soon.
All right.
Fantastic.
By the way, are you eating that? Kind of points towards your frog.
Do I look like I'm eating it?
Can I have the rest of what he left over? You realise he's pointing towards all of the kind of insects.
Oh, the stick?
Oh,
Yeah. Better yet, I'll break, because it was like 2 twigs. I'll like make him another one, basically.
Okay.
Like really quickly. So he
Oh.
can like.
What do I use?
I can
10%
make-
again?
She looks at her group.
This poor guy.
And 10% for later, maybe. I owe you kind of situation.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of those. Okay.
You like bugs to eat.
Oh yeah, good delicacy. Yeah, don't sell them much around here. All right.
Fair.
I think you should go now,
Right.
so I can get my things.
I think you should go now.
Leaves.
I think we should go now. Fucked up.
All right, man. What up?
Climbs up to go and get his stuff.
Guess I'll
Of my
fucking
house.
go. Jesus.
It's actually how my dad ends all family gatherings. So
But yeah, he would kind of usher you out the store, head upstairs, go and gather some things, and leave the shops for next time so you guys can peruse wherever you want to spend your
Yeah.
gold. There's a lot of shops. I think I've made like 30 shops here, so there's a lot of places that you can look into, whatever you want. But we'll leave it there because we've already gone over the 3-hour mark anyway, so we'll finish up. Thanks everyone for playing as per usual, and let's do some shout outs. Let's start off with old G. Go around that way.
hi, I'm OLG. Sometimes I stream stuff, sometimes I tweet stuff. Most of the time I quietly listen to see what my puppy's getting into. Right now she's laying quietly. I'm gonna just sit here till she wakes. After everyone leaves this call, it's all gonna be.
Yeah, they can only see movement. Shane.
hi, I'm Shane. I've actually just signed up for the 7 Days to Die 1.0 like streamer weekend that's coming up. So as soon as I get that, I'm gonna be playing that so much.
Damn.
1.0 is
Are
coming
they
out.
adding loads of new stuff for 1.0, or is it just finally out?
It's gonna be sort of spread out. At first, it's just gonna be 1.0. There's gonna be a lot, and it's gonna be like visually updated too, and it's gonna look really good.
I'm
Sick.
Like a whole new
That
lighting
game needs
engine and
more
everything.
graphics. That's what it needs.
It looks
The
sick.
fucking trailer's lagging in the background.
I'm gonna go look up and
More
see what it is
graphics.
all about now, because it's a
Dude, I
good
remember.
game.
I remember when I applied for that last one. You have to like talk about how excited you are for the game, and then link and then clip it, and then send them the clip
Nice.
to
So they
get
can use it.
access
No, just to
No, like an insight check to see if you're really excited.
Say to your community that you're excited to play, and then send it to them.
Good news is I already said that.
Nice.
To play
Yeah,
the next thing.
We can look at your
to
playtime,
be-
right?
yeah, to
And
be
then, like,
fair.
obviously.
About
To be fair, your one's
God.
honest. Your one's real honest with it because you've. If they don't give it to you, it'd be
I was
crazy.
applying for it, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, chat, I'm like really excited to play." And then someone clipped that.
Amazing.
Incredible. Bree.
Hi, I'm Bree Bun. I'm gonna maybe finish Animal Well tomorrow on stream.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through it. I think it's really good. So yeah.
Nice. Tomato.
I don't want it today, dude. I know I do a lot. This
Too
time I
much,
just
maybe.
don't
Some
have
might say too much.
This
Every
is
week
weird. Are you
he's
feeling
like
okay?
the yapster every week. He's really yapping. But today,
Wait, you do have
no.
something you can shout out that's coming up this week, though.
Oh,
Don't try to get it out of me.
Oh, say it. Say the words. What's coming out? What have you put the
What
F into?
is
Don't try to get
it?
it out of me.
What is it?
Go on, say it. Say it.
No.
I'll say it at the same
not gonna
time.
say
On
it.
three.
So
One, 2, 3. Space Station 13. Okay, chat. Tomorrow's Space Station famous
Oh.
servers. You've already shouted that out, right? Because I had chat come in and tell me, like, yeah, I thought so. Okay. Just so I wasn't spoiling it.
No,
The panic on Joe's face.
That was the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. Be like, that wasn't public knowledge, Joe.
Dude, I was like,
Joe,
oh
that
shit.
wasn't public knowledge. It wasn't
Yeah,
really.
Joy told everyone.
I felt like momentarily. I was like, wait a minute. No, chat did tell me that. Yeah. Space Station 13 comes back this week, which Tomato runs. So it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
Runs from.
Runs
actively.
from.
Oh.
True.
Yeah.
But we will run too.
Well, thanks for doing all the work for the shout out for me.
Yeah,
I
fuck
appreciate
you.
that.
Fuck you.
You could
dude.
just clip that, actually. You could just clip it
Yeah.
and just
Yeah,
keep rerunning
clip
it.
and send it to me. Someone clip Tomato.
Let me know that you're really into it.
At some point, chat, I need you to clip Tomato throughout the week, and we'll build a personal shout out of the words just kind of combined together.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, we
There
can just
you
force it out
go.
of now.
Shit. Someone will do that.
Sam.
Oh, so you're gonna do his, but I have to do my own.
Wow.
Damn.
man.
Yeah, what
Face
the
hater.
fuck? Special
Hater.
treatment.
Unbelievable.
But I don't want him to set a trend. Okay, he was a one-off. He was an outlier, anomaly. Oh, for fuck's sake, twitch.tv/stripping. Okay. Dodger, please.
Damn.
You just
No
reinforced
one
that, Joe. You
is-
just reinforced it.
Ever know the pain of coming after these two chuckle fucks right in a row? Every time we go in this direction. Anyway, hi, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus. I'm a mushroom during the week. And tomorrow I'm gonna bully the Grim Reaper into falling in love with me. And then
Trying to work out which game you mean by
right?
that.
So relatable.
You already did.
There have been
Nice.
some good games that have been coming out, so we'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna play for the rest of the week. But I did play Crypt Master last week, and that game was very fun.
Nice.
Cool game. Twitch obviously can't speak. Twitch.tv/Joe Fudge. We have a Patreon if you want to see behind the scenes stuff. Anywhere from the homebrew to the DM notes, all of that good stuff. Otherwise, I don't really know what I'm doing this week, but you'll see it on this channel. But in the meanwhile, please go and follow and watch everyone's stuff here. And we'll be back next week for episode 29 as we explore more into the city of Marigold, from shopping to some pretty dark stuff coming up. I will say there will be some body horror warning at some point, so you have that to
Ooh.
look forward to. All right, everybody.
Just going
Bye,
to a
guys.
church, dude. I don't understand. Like, why would you say that's what's gonna happen?
Yeah, what
There's-
the hell?
There's a fair few
Weird.
things for you to do around the city, which will be fun. I'm excited. So we'll see
Nice.
you guys in the next episode. See you next week. Catch you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.